Kips Clips.
Alrighty, YouTubes, another one of Kips Clips. So, I thought I would put on a wee bit of a live stream with regards to the results in and around the European Union elections. So, just while I'm making sure I've got no audio blowback. Nobody likes a bit of blowback. And I'm good to go, so welcome. So we'll be keeping an eye on Tommy Robinson, UKIP, and the far right Hydra. You know, it's always interesting when independent candidates and candidates from a political party are encouraging you to vote for each other. But anywho, so hopefully with some of the bullshit, some of us might even gain a wee, me included, gain a wee bit a better understanding how this EU election bullcrap actually works. As well as some of the results. So in the evening, one and all, remember what I do here, it's digital basking. Everything is available and accessible free of charge. I'm going to do such a good job, you will find value in what I do and use your spare change, not your life savings, in the Patreon and PayPal buttons down below. And a mega thanks to those who do. Thumbs it up, share it on the Facebook, on the Twitters, all the good stuff. I think that's it. Head went elsewhere. Anywho, on with the show. So in the evening, everybody that's joined us, Jamesy Boy, Apple Charlotte, Pontiac, Hugh McMillan, Jimmy Brown in the evening, guys and girls. Thanks for joining, everybody. There's the Blazing Stars. There's the Lazy Jesus. Dino, how you doing, my man? Nice to see you, and Dino. Lazy Jesus, how you doing? Eunice, Jay, Mason, how you doing, Jay? Richie, Rowson. Actually, I'm going to make a video, mate, show you how bendy I am. I'm going to... Yeah, run for your money. Not quite, but anyway, GB. Maybe they came from me trying to shamelessly advertise over on the Rebel Media. Boom. Graham as well. In the evening, one and all. Thanks for joining, everybody. So let's have a wee look at what's happening. I was over on the Rebel. Tiny Tommy's fucking, but he shrunk. He must have been out in the rain and it came indoors, he dried and fucking camera can't pick him up anymore, bastard. We just clear my Skypes. Looks good. Tiny Tommy.
Guys, $5 love to Tommy, and thanks Rebel for fairly covering his campaign. Well, that's the thing. Is just
now the best. To the best of my understanding, I don't think here in the UK you can post any exit polls, i.e., any polls that were done after the vote up until after 10 PM. I thought this was a rule of thumb in the whole European Union. But what's that? Sky News. Euronews seem to be reporting polls from France and the fact that Le Pen has beat Macron. But they've not. Anyway, I can't get my head around all these fucking rules and regulations. That's why if I was to run for politics like Tommy Robinson, I'd probably end up in jail for breaking all sorts of fucking laws. But anyway, let's have a listen. Oh, Tiny Tommy's back! Yay!
Should I stay speaking together, or shall I go down there?
Woo!
Regardless, I think I'm going to go down there. I'm going to go down there now. I'd like to say to every single person who's...
Aye, mate, regardless of you win, you need to get... You can score a gear anywhere, mate. You should go down to that local boozer, get a couple of G, keep you sweet fucking through to the night, man, while all the polls and all that come in. You're flagging, mate. It's been a long campaign.
Fine. What we find out tonight is just how much of an influence the establishment, the media, and the limiting of social media. The ability for you to get your message out, the ability for me to talk to the public and to counter the lies and smears. That's my toughest job, and to politicise the working class, which is what I wanted to do. No matter what, we've had a success. No matter what, there's been a success. Do I think I'll be elected as an MEP? I don't.
You wanted to
at the end of the campaign. I didn't feel it. I hope
size.
It.
The working class.
It's been a great experience, and more than anything, I've delayed so much for this campaign. The Rape of Britain, which is an upcoming documentary I want to do, highlighting what's happening to children in the towns and cities, exposing all of them. I want to crack on with that. I'm ready to crack on with
all
that.
the white victims are brown people.
It's constantly
everybody else, fuck off. You have to be white, and you have to be a victim of a brown cunt.
The Old Bailey.
Stick around for one more minute. I want to ask you one question, and I want to make one plan. Jessica, I might suggest that you go with Tommy to that place, and if there's breaking news, let us know and put it on your Periscope, and we'll pipe that feed in here. If you want to stick around and stay on
Fuzzy Bear a simpleton?
Where Tommy goes, news often follows. So if you want to go and follow him, that may be an appropriate thing to do, especially to be inside, because you're one of the accredited people to go in that counting room. I'm not pushing you away. You're much better received.
Don't tell you what to do, bitch. But pick us up a sandwich and a coffee on the way back to the office.
Tommy, I have a question for you.
Yep. There you go, sweet cheeks.
If you can.
On your trot.
Okay, come back afterwards. So
and I'll watch you
Tommy's
leaving.
Going to the counting place. It's actually the verification. The counting has been done in the 39 local towns and cities.
In 3 days. In the 3 days that stuff's there, they've just been sat there.
Yeah, I find that really iffy. I've never heard of that.
I don't know.
Taking time to count, but counting ballots and letting them sit under lock and key. Who's lock? Who's key?
Who's the big?
But
it's a fix!
I want to ask you a question, Tommy, because in the United States, this deplatforming is a political issue. Like here in the UK, Paul Joseph Watson was kicked off, Carl Benjamin, Sargon Khan kicked off, but I don't see the same free speech commitment in the UK as I do in the United States. They've got their First Amendment. I believe that listen.
I can't even figure out if the dodgy audio is coming for this shit setup. My pishy headset, or what have you, I apologise. Look at this, the Illuminati Deep State. Censoring them, look. You just seen that. There's no other explanation. Illuminati Deep State fucking operatives.
Fix it.
Jack in the stream.
Killed too. What do you think of that?
100%. And it's not just that they took me off. No one's even had to mention my name. That's
they
insane.
blew him off?
You can't even write Tommy Robinson or say anything favourable without it being deleted or you being removed.
That's not true. I talk about you all the time, Tommy.
On social media. Now, and that's spread across
that video about how you and Danny Tomo are my biggest fans.
Today we see how much
that never got removed.
If I'd have had social media, I'd have smashed this completely. And but Donald Trump, America, they're removing everyone. They're removing everyone. At the start of this campaign, any supporting voices that were political media were removed as well. It's not just me. They were removed as well. So, yeah, Donald Trump's got to sort it out, or eventually they'll be in complete control, which is what they're doing. They're regaining control.
The Illuminati are gaining control.
I find it very
no!
Because, as a Canadian, of course, we have the Queen on our passport and the Queen on our currency and our stamps. And we look to the United Kingdom as the place where these freedoms were hard won. From the Magna Carta and John Milton and if you are losing them, you're the trunk of the tree, and in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, we're the branches of the tree. If the trunk rots, will the branches be far behind?
What about South Africa?
We're not losing them. We've lost them. They're gone. They removed me from social media without breaking any laws. As I said, we have strict laws in this country against inciting hatred, against racial hatred, religious hatred. I broke none of them. I've been removed at every single level, organised.
That's still to be decided, Tiny Tommy, man. You've still got a court case to go up for. There's Fuzzy Bear. He's meant to be a lawyer, but this shit doesn't pop in his head.
And my ability to talk to the public and tell them my view and counter the lies and smears is gone. So,
it's funny you say that. You just made me remember. Brexit was in 2016. That was won largely on social media. Then Trump in November 2016. Then social media.
Well, they're kind of saying what I've said. They hijacked social media to spread right-wing filth. Wow, Fuzzy the Bear said something I agree with. Waka, waka, waka. The world's upside down.
Candidates that we don't even know about yet. And that's a much bigger story than the Russia collusion conspiracy theory. It's a conspiracy.
Russian
fact
collusion!
Shutting you down. That's not a theory. That's a fact, Tommy.
It's a celebrated fact.
It's a fucking fact.
Celebrate
Celebrate it.
Celebrate
Celebrate Tommy
When you say
Robinson's
it,
sack.
giving anyone the
It's a
ability to
fact.
talk about it. Someone put their voting form on where they put a cross in Tommy Robinson. It was removed for hate speech.
Yeah, that's incredible. For those who don't, it's just simply saying the words Tommy Robinson. You put that on Facebook as your status. That will be suspended for violating community standards. I don't think people know how bad it is. Try doing it at home, folks. Try doing Vote Tommy Robinson.
Yeah! Go and get yourself kicked off of Facebook. Lose all your family pictures and all that by being fucking Fuzzy Bear's guinea pig.
So where they've made me a figure of hate without any evidence or without any criminal proceedings.
No evidence, no criminal proceedings apart from the one he's going through right now. You know the one that he was outside the Old Bailey for again? That one!
None of them are banned.
Oh, lordy, lordy!
Not a good thing, but it means
This guy's funny.
and they really feared me. They don't fear the far right or the extreme far right. They fear someone who they can see is building a movement based on honesty and truth. I've been removed.
Seek help! We are building a movement.
I'm going to go there now. I'm grateful for the support. One thing is I felt so loved. There's my little boy on there again, FaceTiming. I felt so loved by everyone. It's been great having you here, Jess. It's been great having you here. Honest journalists to give a true account of what's happening because we're lied to. The public know they're lied to. The trust in media's gone. It's whether they've been able to influence and so many people didn't even know I was standing. So many people I speak to didn't even know you're standing. I've got no ability to talk to them. Before, just to press, if I went live.
Surely the penny's got to be dropping for more and more and more and more and more people now. Answers on a postcard. Where's the best camera angle? I don't know. Do you like to see? Yeah, I can't even read there. Look at the fucking super chats coming in, man.
Over. So we're still rooting for you, and so are the 11,000 folks watching. You're going to go over to the counting center. Jessica, do you think you should go over now, or should you tag along later?
So. It looks like results are going to be coming in in the next 30 minutes. So I think it's a good idea if I head over there with you.
Get your milkshakes ready. I'm on my way.
Yay!
Right, will you come? Okay, cheers. All right, we'll just play musical chairs here one more time.
He missed the trick. He should just dress himself up in one big milkshake costume. Boom! PR victory. Down 1-0 to Tommy. Dress up like a milkshake.
Moment. Go live on Periscope, and we'll pipe that in here too.
That sounds a bit sexy there, Ezra.
Later as well, Jessica. All right, thanks very much.
Pipe that in, Jessica. Pipe it in.
3 people.
Waka, waka,
One, and I
waka.
apologize that the one you're stuck with is just little old me.
I know.
Least exciting of the 3.
Boring bastard Fuzzy Bear is actually more entertaining. Let's bounce over here now. We've got like fucking Tiny Tommy and his bit of stuff. There's a way.
Labour and the Scottish Conservatives performed.
Told you, the Scots are the Jews of the UK. We're overrepresented in everything.
Certainly Scottish Labour are staring down the barrel of a record worst
Everywhere we are.
in electoral history. So results in Scotland, they'll come in around 10:30 we think, and probably finish around 11:30 tonight. But
Right,
they will not be complete until tomorrow.
This doesn't make sense to me. The elections were, when the fuck were they? Thursday or Friday? I think they were Thursday. Right. Have they just been holding these things in a wee fucking box somewhere and now they're counting them? Well, that would probably make sense now I think about it. Hold on, there's some sort of Illuminati's doing this. I know it. Don't look for the common sense angle here. No. Illuminati deep state at work.
Well, Brexit, good opinion polls have got them in second place, actually, so they would be hopeful of at least one seat. For Change UK, not so good. In fact, one of the key points in this campaign was when David McDonnell last week...
You know it's turned into such a joke? I don't even know who's who. Change UK, is that the transvestite party? I think that is. Then you got what, New Brexit party or something, Farage's thing. Then you get like, I don't know, you get another mob. And then you've got Boris Johnson's sister who looks like a fucking sheepdog. Man, see these people that walk about, the woman who think it's sexy to have fucking fringes in their eyes because they're that Claudia Winkle fanny or whatever her name is, Winkleman. Fuck, I'd love to just fucking get them in their sleep. fucking chop that fringe right off, man. Honestly, I dream about that. Boris Johnson's sister, this is a bit, and Winkleman, they're in my dreams. Nothing sexual or anything, just they're fucking sheepdog fringes that does my tits in. It's like, I'm like flicking their hair out their eyes for them and I'm watching them. But maybe that says more about me than them. Anyway, let's get on with the guys with talking suits. And look, it's all relaxed and all that. Look, we've not got ties on. Shirt and, like, we're doing the casual thing here. We're rocking no shirt, no tie, a couple of buttons undone. The Simon Cowell way, know what I'm saying?
Told we're politically homeless because Labour wasn't backing a second referendum. They're expected to barely register at all. But I would be careful about reading too much into a general election because this is a different voting system.
It looks like the far right, the right-wing anti-EU parties are pretty much fucking mega gains across the board for the best I can pick up. If Euronews was doing a good job of telling you the results without telling you the results. And what you hear is them, well, these results don't actually mean fuck all. Yes, it's an election, and yeah, it's meant to mean something, but they don't take it out of context. Nobody's voting. Don't take it out of context. So, as crazy as it sounds, I'm predicting a riot. No, I'm predicting mega gains for your far right populist parties all over. Well, Le Pen beating Macron, right? National Front or whatever she's rebranded it as now. And Italy's get right wing people. Anyway, we'll see how it pans out. It's hard to keep up to speed with all the football teams, their new colours and their new songs and the alliances and his and the Edward Bernays crazy Orwellian wonderland that we stay. When you listen to the name of the parties over in the EU, it's like the social demagogues of the conservative Christians and all that. I think the meaning is lost in translation, you know. But maybe it's just me. So it's hard from a very British-centric understanding of politics to fully grasp these crazy-ass fucking parties that all these fucking bratwurst, garlic-munching motherfuckers over in the EU are supporting.
Stoke the drums of the Brexiteers who would like to leave whichever way on October the 31st. And I think tomorrow what we will see are those Brexiteers out on the cameras, out and about, saying that this is a vindication of what we have been warning, and we have to leave whichever way on October the 31st. But Michael Gove's point is important, and I think there'll be a number in Cabinet and in the party that do not like the hardline Dominic Raab estimate they will leave with no deal if necessary on October the 31st. Right. The problem they've got is how are they going to negotiate a deal? And if they do try and delay Brexit any further, it's likely the Brexiteers will try and collapse the government.
All right, well, let's find out what's going on in Wales, a region we're also watching closely tonight for the performance.
This guy, I don't know, he honestly makes something turn in my stomach. See, like, he's one of the people that I love to watch with the sound down. You're like, it's like a slug into, poured into a soup. That's how he just like, spilling over his shirt. Anyway.
Because we're going to see something genuinely historic. As you said, Labour have dominated electoral politics here for a century. And tonight, at best now, it seems they can hope to come a distant third. This is true.
Why have they got a magician on talking about politics? There's a card trick.
Be ahead of them.
Well,
why have they got this magician on? Yeah, again, but don't worry. Absolutely nice and relaxed at home. Look, family picture in the background. Man of the people here. Look, might even drink a beer. Oh, and of course, no tie on, man. Couple of buttons undone the Simon Cowell way, as always.
Is that why they're backing Plaid?
we haven't seen any great evidence of a rise in support for independence, but we are seeing the Labour Party losing.
This game's shite. There's not even any score yet. I prefer the American sports where you get high scores straight away, you know. We need to just get some straight things on the board. But anyway.
Then for Labour, is it this question of them not seeming sufficiently Remainery?
Yeah, I think the Labour Party are losing a lot of their traditional support, and a lot of the people who backed them in the last general election, seeing them as the most, as the strongest option for people who favoured Remain. So, Labour have been leaking support, traditional support, and some of the newer support they picked up as well. But it's also, of course, tonight going to be an absolutely terrible night for the Conservatives in Wales. It looks like they could well finish.
See, I'm a mentalist, Blazing. I knew you were thinking about that, and I used my mentalist powers. You know, somebody I just got, do you know what it was? Eurovision! When I was, I was watching Eurovision. Eurovision had a mentalist on. I'm like, what the fuck? They've got a mentalist on! And then, like, in other English-speaking parts of the world, they call mind readers mentalists. I prefer the mentalists. I'd go and see a mentalist before I would mind reader. Seen it, done it, load of pish. Mentalist? What the fuck's this guy going to do, man? And wee bit woo, fucking mental guy, man. Don't know what could happen. Anything's on the go.
We think are due round about midnight, but we are going to get results coming in from around the UK, coming up from 10 o'clock. We also will be able to tell you some of the results, early results that have come in from the rest of the European Union where they have been declared, but broadcast.
Right. We vote before the EU and count after the EU. Fucking leave the EU and then we can fucking count our votes for the European election when we want to fucking count our votes for the European election. British fucking time, know what I'm saying? It's foreign muck time.
Nigel Farage. We're expecting to hear from down there at 10 o'clock. We're also expecting to hear from the northeast, which of course was the place which really set Leave on course for victory nearly 3 years ago on referendum night. So stay with Sky News.
I saw that. I was actually in Canada watching that on my phone, and I saw that, and I thought, oh my God. And I had watched that carefully because I observed a few things. I'm a former lawyer myself, and I observed Tom alleged rape.
He's a lawyer, and he couldn't understand why Tommy Robinson was getting done in court for what the fuck was it again? Contempt of court. Fuck. I lost my lawyer. Forgot about my lawyer skills there. Oh no! Uh-oh. Dangerous. Living on the edge!
No, the trial was over, actually. It was Judgment Day. They were worried about that phone he had in his hand. And so instead of sending 7 cops to arrest him, throw him in the back of a van, and then
waka waka waka,
why not just press?
See, like I honestly think I can see sticks attached to his hands. Look, if you look closely, I think you can see the sticks.
To Facebook. It was a scandal on the British government to throw him in prison that way. And don't take my word for it. The Court of Appeal said so themselves. So why not get rid of all that messy police arresting stuff? Why not get rid of all that embarrassing, improper, false imprisonment stuff and just make a phone call to Mark Zuckerberg and say, hey, unperson this guy. Make a phone call to Jack Dorsey of Twitter and say, hey, unperson this guy. Tommy Robinson, depending on how you measure, had
Illuminati.
the third most active political account on Facebook in the United Kingdom. Third only to Jeremy Corbyn or Theresa May. Now, I just want to let you know that I've heard from Ed here that Jessica may be going live on Periscope as Tommy enters the counting room. So I would say to Justin in our control center in Toronto, feel free to switch over to that live stream.
He was really feeling intimidated to go down there, man.
Do that. And in any event, grab it and we can play it as a clip here. So I want to let you know that Jessica and Tommy have left the building here and they've gone there. I know this is a little bit rough and tumble, but that's the world of...
But that's because I'm a lawyer that isn't really that good at law, and I produced podcasts and all that, and I'm not really that good at that either. That's just the way he rolls. Uh-oh. You know. Gentleman Jack. Oh. Gutted I missed that.
They're putting him on trial again for contempt of court. I've asked Jessica to come back to London then because I think she's a fan favorite in the UK, and you got to give people what they want. Am I right? All right. So Canada, in my ear, I'll rely on you to tell me if you want to break away to get any clips from Jessica at the counting place. In the meantime, let me give a few shout outs to our supporters. Peter Kameniak, £5. Thank you for that. $24 from Shirley Rose Lee. Thank you for that. Michelin Book, $20 Canadian. Love your hard work and honest reports. Yay Le Pen, and now on to Tommy. Thank you for that. Canada, if you want to send me any more super chats to my email, because I know
Marie Le Pen, look at her and look at her father. These people are bona fide fucking fascists. Everybody's out there like, yay! They said something nice on YouTube. Woo! Down with the EU!
Read some right now from my phone. Thanks for staying with me, folks. I've got a lot of screens going. I see what I look like on TV. It's hideous. I see the...
Yep. Oh, whoa! The broken clock. Every now and again it is right.
Moving parts.
Waka, waka,
Tracy
waka.
K. Patriot says, hello, Ezra and Jessica. Thanks for all you guys do. Go Tommy Robinson. Well, thank you. Holly Movie Star, $2 says, an American Filipino in America is with you, Tommy. I'll pass it on to him. DWD says, would too.
See, when I was growing up, there was no such thing as the concept of a British patriot. Maybe I was weird or grew up in a wee well, I did grow up in a wee enclave, but my enclave,
Just walking in right now.
Look, Tommy's on some stairs. Shh. Breaking news. Exciting news. Tommy's rocking the same cheaps. Rupert the bear suit. Shh, check. Shh. Confirmed. Looking for Tommy. Have you seen him?
Even Tommy Robinson can't.
There he is.
That
Nope.
way. So we're walking around.
Quick, put the camera on him.
Looking sharp.
Oh no.
I heard a rumor you were gonna wear a pink suit.
I was just winding A-Tan up. Did he buy it?
Yeah, he was.
I was gonna come honestly
nervous.
dressed as a milkshake. No joke. I was fancy dressed as a milkshake. I've been looking at the.
No! He's listening to him and Tommy.
So.
I mentioned that the other night. The cunt's fucking reading my. Look, I'm fucking a magician. Shazam, motherfucker. I know Danny and Tommy are my best fans. That's where all my thumbs up come from.
He's got new shoes.
New shoes, new milkshake proof blazer. There's the police, tactical unit. I'm right there.
That big sloth for the Goonies. Here goes.
10 minutes?
Maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Are they?
Yeah. Slowly coming in, yeah.
I think that no matter what, we'd have got non-voters.
Deep state.
No matter
Censorship.
what. Where do we go in then?
That way.
Where's your ticket? A-Tan.
Deep state eliminate censorship. Oh no, maybe not.
How's it going? Yeah, good, brother. Yeah. You know where A-Tan is?
I'm going to change my knickers.
Thank you.
Yeah. Ring him.
It's always gonna be
We know where A-Tan is?
Am I tripping? Did I mention he should dress like a milkshake on one of my live streams the other night? I know these cunts are my biggest fans. Is that big? Oh no, I thought it was Big Kev. Deep State Illuminati! Censorship! Ezra Levant saying Tommy Robinson, ban him! Quick, kick him off! Fucking Facebag and YouTube band together!
That crowd is scared.
Get him, Tommy! Really is like a little cult. Oh, he loves it, doesn't he? Woo! But you know what? It's probably the most strict security they've had to ever had to have at account for a long time. Yeah, this will be pretty good if she manages to live stream from Tommy Robinson's account though. That will be pretty sweet. Thank you, Ezra! Yeah, some for quick! Super chat, $2!
You've done me about 6 times.
Oh, sorry, no cheap suits allowed, Tommy. You're going to have to go and put on your milkshake costume. That's kind of weird about him. Anyway.
Swarm of media.
Professional security guards in this big suit. Now the thing is professional security guard, normal sized guy. What the fuck's that, like some sort of aircraft bunker or fucking something? What the fuck is that? Fuck. House fronts round the side, where the fuck are they? It's like some sort of fucking alien autopsy ward. I think maybe they put him in there and they're going to turn on the gas. He's the enemy of the state. We all know the deep state Illuminati is out to get him. I think they're just going to...
I feel confident if it was a fair campaign.
Okay.
The fact that other people have been able to advertise on social media against me, tell lies and smears, every single town and city I've gone into, the local MP...
You've had the rebel media and all your wee band of willy wallopers. Annie Tomo's still been broadcasting your shit on YouTube.
It's for a fair campaign.
Lies.
Everyone against me has been able to advertise on social media. 2.4 million people they reach advertising against me. I'm deplatformed from all social media.
This is Ollie's
because the establishment
press ready sound bites.
The Labour Party contacted YouTube and made them remove me. So I haven't had an ability to talk to people. Even when I've tried to talk to people through leaflets, the Royal Mail...
You can't talk to people?
And their staff and their unions have refused to deliver.
You can't talk to people through leaflets?
We're putting complaints about that. If it was a fair campaign, I'd be super confident. It's not a fair campaign.
Mate, I would ditch the politics and go to Dragon's Den where you're talking leaflets.
Any ability you have to talk to the public, and not just do that, they then slander you and spread lies across the whole of the Northwest about me. And my ability to talk about it, anyone who's watched my campaign...
This is the exact same shit you just said on Ezra's...
No one arrested. You'd have seen hundreds of masked Muslims march.
Of course Tom is going to win tomorrow. And if he doesn't, we know it's all been fixed.
But if he doesn't win, it's been rigged. Yeah. Most definitely.
Deep State Illuminati. Deep State Illuminati all the fucking way. This cunt's even just sporting a milkshake in support of Tommy Robinson.
McDonald's milkshake right in the side of the face.
There's the accounts of people self-milkshaking themselves in some sort of a weird alliance. You know, there's now a branch of the cult that just walk around covered in milkshakes all the time. And also another branch of the cult that have developed a genuine phobia against milkshakes. If there's any cunt on the street with a milkshake, they're like, it's a grenade! Or not, it's a milkshake!
Mr. Conrad, you, my friend, are being audited. No.
Hold on, Deep State Illuminati. What's the Deep State Illuminati?
But they're great on European Union.
What do you think your chances are of winning this then, Tommy, right now?
Wee cocaine sweat getting on?
I've been talking positively through the campaign. When I went up to people and I'm handing out a leaflet, and then they tell me, aren't you a Nazi? And I say, aren't you a Nazi? And I hear that they've heard that from campaigns against me. Campaigns I can't counter. People can say what they want about me. I'm not allowed social media. I'm not allowed to interact with the public. I'm not allowed to. Remember,
he's saying this as he's broadcasting live on social media.
My name. Now we have laws in this
Rebel
country.
media confirmed by YouTube it's broadcasting Tommy Robinson with Tommy Robinson in their title, and he's now saying he's not allowed to talk to people through social media, and the Rebel media.
What rules? During the middle of this campaign, Stripe is the processing payment for credit cards, removed my ability to fundraise for this campaign. That's a foreign company interfering in the electoral process in this country.
No, it's private companies deciding what ball bags they do and do not want to do business with.
Or no one can.
Gay cakes.
Because it's not fair. The whole
way cakes.
Trump won his campaign on social media. Brexit was won on social media. I'm banned from all social media. So my ability to fight a fair campaign is gone, orchestrated and organised by the government. So do I think I stand a chance? I think it's near on impossible to fight that. How can you fight a whole establishment that are funding, the union funded 100 billboards of lies against me? I can't even counteract them. But more than anything, every community I've gone to, every working class state I've gone to, I felt so loved. I felt more loved in this campaign than I've ever felt in my life. So it's been fulfilling for myself.
Mummy issues, small man syndrome, mummy issues.
Send a message to Donald Trump, it's just a message to the rest of the world that get social media in hand. They can't, it cannot be used in the electoral process when you only let. I feel like I've been fighting a fight with my hand tied behind my back because government agencies,
Just because you're a midget, mate. Just because you're a midget.
About me, I'm not even allowed to counter it. I'm not even allowed to talk about it. And my supporters aren't even allowed to mention my name or they get deleted. It's dark.
Do you recognise it because some of the language used
it's dark, bitches!
No, I don't. No, the reason why is because in this country we have laws against inciting hate. If any of my speech was inciting hate, I'd have been arrested for it.
But Facebook and that can do business with who they do and do not want to for whatever reasons. Of course it's politically motivated, you daft bastard, and it's because you and the far right are hijacking social media, you dumb fuck. And this is your violent attempt of covering that up. Listen to this wee whiny bitch fucking battering out the same rhetoric again and again and again and again and again. It's a bit tiring.
We haven't broke any of our rules. But then after government pressure, they removed my ability completely to reach the public and talk to them. So I can make videos. I made a video about Oldham, the one that you haven't seen. If I had social media, you'd have seen it. You'd see hundreds of men, say this out loud, hundreds of men wearing balaclavas were marched for 2 miles by the police to a family event where they had rocks and bricks and scissors, you can see the video, and they attacked it. And then the media, rather than say hundreds of Muslims were marched there by the police, the media just run a headline, clashes at Tommy Robinson event as police cars are smashed. They lead the public to believe something's happened that hasn't happened. They don't tell the truth. And that goes for all of your cameras here. You're all completely dishonest. Completely dishonest. And we don't really have, I don't think we even have journalism. Because you don't report the facts or the truth. You come with complete attacks. And yeah, so I think that for people who will watch this and learn from it, is that you can't have a fair campaign currently now when the government are interfering with social media companies.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Shut up, Tommy.
You're fake news. You're completely fake news.
I'd really be grateful if you'd answer a question.
To Channel 4.
Channel 4
You're the
News,
worst. You are absolutely the worst. You completely lie.
Just now, Mr. Robinson. Two people
This is going to be good, actually.
giving Nazi salutes.
Of course they were. Of course they were.
They were.
Of course they were. Two people who were here to support me. Two probably paid agitators, which is exactly what we face everywhere we go. So in Channel 4 News, you're the worst for it. In fact, you film certain things with me, and then the headlines you run the complete opposite. So two people you've probably set up, or the establishment set up.
Do you think we paid people to give Nazi salutes outside?
I'll be honest, this is entertaining.
Thank you.
Ah, did Tiny Tommy run away?
So you just saw, as soon as Tommy walked in, the media swarmed him. They are attracted to him like no one else because this is how they get stories. They make
because he smells nice. He smells so good, hen.
Slander him, and it's for the clicks.
He smells
They
beautiful.
don't care about actually reporting the facts. The one reporter there was pretending she's never seen the video from Oldham. We've all seen it. I was actually there myself. I made a video on it. So
we've all seen it.
my results should be coming in the next 20 minutes or so. So
sort of your audio levels, hen. Ezra, turn your mic on. Yep.
Not only was it great to watch him walk in, to chants and friends welcoming him, but to listen to that scrum. I thought he did a great job there. Of course, you and I heard him tell us those same things half an hour earlier. I have to tell you, though, my favorite moment was not when he was talking to the BBC. And he gave her a lot of, he dealt with her with good respect. But when Channel 4 asked him for a comment, he called them fake news. You must admit that was just with good respect. But when Channel 4 asked him for a comment, he called them fake news. You must admit that was just wonderful. Well, let me say this to our control center back in Canada.
Suck!
Stay in touch with Jessica. I'm not. It looked like Tommy. You could see the room there. There was this huge cavernous hall at the Manchester Convention Center.
Fuzzy bear.
But you saw very strict security. They even did metal detectors, as you saw, as Tommy and his staff walked in. I don't know if they metal detected Jessica. I didn't see that. A huge hall. Maybe only about 100 chairs in it. Like, it's not an event open to the public. My understanding of that event is it is a counting and verification event. So it's only a small group of candidates and, as you can see, some media who pre-registered, as Jessica did. So that's why she's in there. I'm glad that we're at our base camp here. And I would say to our Canadian control room, stay in touch with Jessica. If Tommy does something, if he goes out into the crowd again, or if there's an announcement, cut into my earpiece because we'll want to take that live. I thought that was actually very exciting TV. And it was sort of from Tommy's point of view. It was like a not quite a bird's eye view.
But he ran away.
It was a snap shot.
You should have argued with the Channel 4 woman for a bit more, man. That was.
You saw the fans outside, some hugs, some cheers, and then just a pack of jackals. The BBC's questions. Shut up, bitches! Fair enough. But it's, of course, it's not the questions that matter. It's what they leave on the editing room floor and what they put to ear. I thought Tommy was quite compelling in his arguments. Would you like to make a small wager with me that none of Tommy's compelling answers to those questions will make it to airtime? They'll throw it in the, what do they call it, in Orwell's 1984. They'll throw it down the memory hole. That's the word. All right, well, let's take a moment and catch up on some super chats that came through the meantime.
Your conspiracy balls.
This is the first donation and is by no means the last. God donation, Tommy Robinson. Thank you. Nicholas 3, love you, Tommy. Thank you. Christina Hine. Ezra, Jessica, you rock. Thank you for reporting the truth. Good luck, Tommy. Don't be downhearted. Remember, it is not over until the fat lady sings. Justin in Toronto, if you want to send me an email with any more super chats that I've missed. And, of course, stay in touch with Jessica. Again, just doing outstanding right there. Wasn't that exciting? Wasn't that exciting? I don't think, by the way, that those other cameras were rolling it live. Because they would never roll with Tommy Robinson live. Why? Because then they couldn't edit him out. So I think what you just saw there on our little homemade live stream with Jessica streaming from her phone and us grabbing that and putting it on the YouTube, I mean, you got to admit, it's sort of a miracle what citizen journalism can do in 2019. Thank you, Toronto, for sending me these super chats that I missed. Mr. Oswillow.
Oswillow?
I guess that means Australia because it's $15 Australian. Keep fighting the good fight, Ezra. Well, thank you.
Oswillow?
Micheline Book, I think I read that one already. Christina Hine, yeah. I think I've caught up on those ones. Oh, here's another one.
P. Moore.
I think I have caught up on the super chats. And if I haven't, Toronto, feel free to send me some. All right. Let's check the time. It is 10:17. And while we were playing that very interesting live footage from Jessica's phone, I was looking at a few other reports. I was poking at it, and it looks like the Brexit party is.
Right, let's go and tap into.
Party again, way out in front on 45% of the vote, with the Liberal Democrats on 20% and the Greens coming in third. And let's just have a quick look at how the share of the vote has changed since 5 years ago. So the Liberal Democrats and the Greens putting on at the expense of Conservative, Labour and UKIP.
Rita, before we leave that screen that you have there, I think it's worth explaining so that viewers know exactly where we're going on this, that these are local results. Yes, these results will all be totted up in these local authority areas, Sedgemoor being one of them, and then they'll all be aggregated in these regions. So, for example, whether it's the southwest of England or whether it's the east of England or Wales or Scotland, and that's when we'll know who the MEPs are. So what you've been explaining there is results in local areas, which will then be added up to make the final result.
And those local areas are all part of these 12
It's
regions.
the northwest Tommy's running.
Form the,
I think there's 8. They get 8 seats. It's one of the biggest.
Like. There are 73 MEPs, and because this is
8 in the
system,
northwest.
not a first past the post, but
In the north,
proportional
northwest.
representation, the MEPs are allocated according to the share of the party's vote in each region.
Fantastic. We'll be back in a while. Rita, thanks very much. We'll be joined shortly by Professor Sir John Curtis, who's our guru. But John has sent us a message already before I bring my guests in, because they'll have something to say about this. John is giving us these guidelines at this point, OK? He's saying that the Brexit Party, according to his calculations, are heading for first place with a somewhat higher share of the vote than UKIP's 27% back in 2014. That's John's first point. He says it looks as though the Lib Dems are heading for second place ahead of Labour. He says that the Greens are making what he calls a modest advance. And then he says the Conservative vote is falling by just as much as the polls suggested, leaving the party perhaps with little more than 10 or 12% of the vote, which would be a pretty catastrophic collapse. So with all of that in mind, we're going to talk to Helen Whately from the Conservatives, Emily Thornberry from Labour, and Suzanne Evans, prominent Brexit campaigner, formerly of UKIP. Nice to see you all. Thank you all for joining us. Helen, you're kind of smiling bravely, but this is going to be a very difficult night for you.
It's going to be a difficult night, but we knew these were going to be bad elections for us. They're elections that we didn't want to have had.
National,
we want to have left Europe by now. And so it's really frustrating for us. And we know it's also frustrating for many people who usually vote Conservative, but who wanted us to leave. And so they may well not have supported us in these elections, and that's going to play through into the results. So it's going to be a bad night for us. And a message that comes to us from this is yet again, we have to get on and deliver Brexit. Really strong message, we have to get on and do it.
Did you think you'd be heading for something like 10 to 12% of the vote? I mean, seriously?
I mean, we knew that our vote was going to be low because this is an election when people are sending a message. They're sending a message that they wanted to leave and vote for the Brexit Party, or that they wanted to remain more likely to vote for Lib Dems. I mean, it's interesting to see, and I'll be interested to hear what Emily says. I thought that Labour vote would hold up more, because I think most people say, well, the government would be trying to deliver Brexit. Although I share the frustration maybe of voters that if only Labour had voted with us and voted for Brexit rather than blocking it on March the 29th, then we would have left by now and we wouldn't have to have these elections.
Well, you could direct that message at lots of your parliamentary colleagues as well, couldn't you, Helen, really? And, lots of Conservative MPs who didn't help you out either, if that's your perspective.
Well, clearly there are some Conservative MPs who wanted a harder Brexit, though many came round and did support the Prime Minister's deal on March 29th.
You can't blame Labour for not voting for a deal that they thought was bad for the country. I mean, they're not going to do that, are they?
Well, I mean, I think both them and us fought a general election on a manifesto that we would leave, and that we'd leave with a deal. And
Okay.
we had a deal, and so... No.
OK, Emma, how bad is bad? What are you thinking about Labour's performance, and what are your thoughts about the prospects overnight?
I think these are really bad results for Labour. I don't think that they're going to be anything other than that. I think we're going to get a kicking, and I feel really sorry for all our MEPs who are going to lose their seats, all the candidates who work so hard, and all our activists who, frankly, have not done well, and it's not their fault. I think that the point is that...
Come on, let me fucking see Tiny Tommy argue with some Channel 4 people again. Broadcast live with Skeletor and a wig.
On leaving the European Union, and we were not clear about it.
No, it's the Wicked Witch of the West.
Thing that people wanted
It's white,
to hear,
white-faced
that
up.
wasn't their fault, and we sent people out to campaign on that, and unfortunately, we just weren't clear enough.
Where would the clarity have been needed most?
Why is it around election times politicians' bullshit to words ratio just goes through the roof? Don't know if that's a good way of explaining it. It's like It may look like a defeat, but it's actually a victory. We didn't win, but our best pals won, and that means that over the course of time, that if the winds blow up my fanny and I make a noise like a bottle, woo, we might win the next one, which really counts. This one doesn't really count. I'm sure I heard that exact verbatim excuse once from a politician.
And
Maybe it was a
we
dream.
are clearer.
Maybe it was a hooker.
That we're heading for a general election. At least I certainly hope so, because we certainly can't have a new Tory leader who not only will take an
Is that dude in drag?
on Brexit, but also listen
Desperate
to
Dan
at the moment. They're all trying to outbid each other.
wanted to get into
as right-wing
politics.
as possible and as reactionary as possible when it comes to domestic policy. We must have a general election.
Emily Thornbury, just to be completely clear, you're a very senior member of Jeremy Corbyn's team as Shadow Foreign Secretary. You're saying right here, even at this early point,
The wolf in sheep's clothing, Jeremy Corbyn. No, the wolf in a fucking cardigan. A corduroy fucking cardigan. Second hand one.
I think that
That he knitted himself out of
to get a decent
recycled fucking
Union, but I think that things have now moved on. I think that we're now going
dead
to find
person
ourselves in a
pubic
position
hair
where we will have a Tory leadership
300 years ago. Can't get any more economic than that.
and I fear it will be no deal, and in
Or,
the circumstances
weirdly enough,
clear,
comfortable.
and it will be a disaster for our country to have no deal. There should be a referendum, and we should
Dead people's pubes.
And do you think
Ideal
if Labour doesn't move
for
to that, what are the
cardigans.
consequences? I mean, would you see
Untapped resource, people. Untapped resource.
You're losing votes in this way. I mean, we're hearing
Take
already.
that in Dragon's
I don't
Den.
think you can replicate these results with a general election. I really don't think.
Oh, is that woman that got all the hate? Is that? Can't remember.
There's actually numbers. We know it's thousands and thousands, but we just don't know because we were getting some.
I think it
The
sounds
Guardian
like
newspaper were getting some. We know some of the lawyers
Probably
were getting
all
some.
the
So
abuse.
nobody's actually collated all of that together at the moment, so we won't know
I think
until
I might have
Tuesday,
done a
probably
bit of that.
Tuesday, Wednesday, what that number is. But I think it's
before
it's
I came
very
to my
wrong to say
senses.
that this is. I know that some of the messaging will be that this is a proxy second referendum, and I don't think you can say that because of the way
Your website was basically designing it that way.
No.
wasn't it?
We weren't. What we were saying was that there is
Waka.
going to be a split because there wasn't a political coalition on the Remain side. Having so many smaller Remain parties were going to split the vote. So think about tactically voting. So in different
There's also
areas.
a split
we
vote
said
on the
that.
Brexit side. That was the other interesting thing. So you have three parties essentially unequivocally committed to Brexit: the Brexit Party, the Conservatives, and UKIP. You also have Labour facing both ways. And actually, on the Brexit side, it was quite clear that the vote seems to have moved completely to the Brexit Party. Whereas on
I think there's no
the
denying
Remain
that,
side,
yes.
there were several parties presenting themselves as the face of Remain. You had the Greens, the Lib Dems, you had Labour facing halfway, and then you had the SNP and Change UK, and the vote seems to be completely split. So I think it's much harder to draw a clearer conclusion on the Remain side.
I think it's shocking that Change UK isn't the party for transsexuals in the UK. Missed a trick there. Perfect name for them.
If the Liberal Democrats and the Greens do well, that's a pretty clear message from that section of the society who
We already know the country's pretty much split bang down the middle and has been since the referendum, and very, very few people have changed their mind. So surprisingly, these results are polarising.
Tommy's live, folks.
But then if you look.
Tiny Tommy on the move. Live from Tommy's bunker. Shh.
So
There's
results are
Skeletor
trickling
in a
in.
wig.
You see everybody is standing by.
No, I mean,
already
Wicked Witch
Brexit
of the
parties
West
clapping.
in a wig.
I got word that Tommy Robinson has received just less than 40,000 votes. It's not looking good for him at this moment. We're standing by.
Has he won yet?
I'm going to give it the big kiss. What is he, Farage?
73 seats, 12 regions, bricks, shit. It's Tommy won! That's me doing that to the audio and I didn't even know it. Not bad.
walking around, the thing that I notice is the snickers. The snickers, people are giggling and laughing. The fact that they know or believe that Tommy's going to lose or has lost. These people, they hate him. It's kind of unreal why they hate him so much. Everyone, I'm walking by and I hear people whisper.
Why can't this Yank or fucking Mountie, whatever she is, understand that the vast majority of the people of the UK despise Tommy Robinson? She can't figure it out in her little big brain.
It is very quiet here, so I am trying to keep it down. So forgive me if it's a little hard to hear.
No, start going, whoa, Tommy, 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 do that, hen, that's what you always love to do that right in the middle of that place. Really, like, really spice politics up. Come on, hen, that would be good. They should have done this in a Faraday cage, and then, but no, I want to be able to watch this. Where's Tiny Tommy? Oh, Deep State Illuminati interception. Yep, Deep State. No, there it's back. Drop Fuzzy Bear. Back to the action. Whew, yes. See, I'm fucking directing this shit. See, this is what happened. Is rebels. Oh, Deep State Illuminati. Deep State Illuminati!
Well, there you have it, Jessica, with an update from inside the counting room and a somber feeling. It sounds like Tommy Robinson has secured 40,000 votes, which will surely not be enough to win my studies of Northwest England in 2014 and 2009. The last two elections were that to win, you needed about 8 or 9% of the vote. In the last two elections, that would have been
votes. Wow.
160 or 170,000.
I'm depressed he can get that much.
So 40,000 votes would not be enough. You would probably need closer to 200,000. I predict, I don't have the stats in front of me, that there will be about 2 million votes cast altogether. And so 40,000 would only indicate 2 or 3%. Obviously, I'm disappointed in that, but it is true. If you take away Facebook, Twitter, PayPal, Stripe,
if
you
God.
take away the roar.
It's Facebook and Twitter's fault now, and the government, Deep State Illuminati's fault for colluding with the Facebook and all that, going like that. You know, you can't really let your services be used to propagate right-wing filth. Anyway, how funny. Should be listening to some more excuses.
So Tommy Robinson cannot overcome all of that. Do you think that Jeremy Corbyn, do you think that Nigel Farage could exist without social media? Of course not.
No, they would just fade away. They're like vampires. I need the social media, not my blood.
Presence of any political leader in the UK, depending on how you measure, if it's just raw numbers or terms of engagement. We know that.
Shell, I know it's good that that's just a drop in the ocean in the sense that it's not going to get him a seat or anything, right? But see, to me, it's still fucking... See if he secured 40,000 fucking votes. Wow. Like, you needed 8%, and 8% would have been, what, 200,000 votes? And that would have been 8%, and he got 40,000. So let's say he got about under 2%. 2% of the electorate. Anyway, it will still be interesting to see the numbers.
The BBC. He was not kicked off for breaking any rules. They specifically said he didn't break any rules. They were reacting to political pressure. And so I'm not sure of the geographic breakdown of who's watching this show right now. It's 10:33 here in Manchester. So it's, if my math is right, it's 5:33 on the East Coast of the United States. So maybe there's as many Americans and Canadians watching as there are Brits. But the lights are going out across the UK. I felt this way before. I felt this when Tommy was thrown in prison to begin with. I felt this as they slowly tightened the political and legal noose around him. I felt that way as he was deplatformed on social media, but this was the first instance of overt social media interference in an election campaign. I know that in the Democrat media narrative,
and if he doesn't,
in
we know it's all been fixed.
But if he doesn't win, it's been rigged. Yeah. Most definitely.
I went over there to go ask the red flag protesters what's going on. While my back was turned, somebody threw a McDonald's milkshake right in the side of the face.
Russian interference, and of course Robert Mueller's inquiry proves that to be the case.
God, man, these people are like a fucking
was there even
record.
Was there a larger factor in this?
There's been more collusion here than there was collusion between Russia and Trump. I mean, what kind of backward, retarded argument's that? Anyway, interest is gone now. Count Spunkula, he was UKIP in the UK and in Scotland, wasn't he? Did he pull out the race, by the way? I never seen anything on the social nets about him doing any campaigning at all.
I mean, I use the
start going, God almighty. He really is Jeremy Beadle's fat love child.
Be on guard, a guard dog, a watchdog. If you debark the watchdog, all he can do is watch. He can't guard, can he? I'm worried that that's what they've done to Tommy. And here's what's worrying.
Soundgate or something's too aggressive. It sounds
social media companies headquartered in San Francisco.
It's horrible.
The most liberal city in America, the most left-wing city in America. Of course they're going to be anti-Tommy. Of course they're going to be anti-Trump. Of course it's
actually
and their spots. That's who they are.
Now I've started listening.
They will do what they will do.
It's so annoying.
But the fact that
sort your
not
audio out,
one
fucking
civil
fuzzy
society
bear.
group, not one political force in the United Kingdom finds it worrisome. Not one civil libertarian. Where's PEN International? Where's Reporters Without Borders? Where are the civil liberties groups? They
shouting about what Tommy Robinson only getting 40,000 votes.
They support it. They support the censorship of Tommy because they don't like
censorship.
him. They never really supported.
What are you talking about? You've got Telegraph, man.
Speech. What's troubling to me is
we have a
not
look on
that
Telegraph.
These social media companies are doing what we knew they would do. What's troubling is that they're getting away with it so completely. And so I would ask my friends, especially in the United States,
Tommy Graham,
do you think they're not going to do that there?
God,
do you think they're not going to start picking off candidates, probably starting with the independents, probably starting with those who are out there, like the American versions of Tommy? Do you think they're not going to do that there in the United States? Do you think they're not going to do that in Canada? Do you think they're not doing that? I mean, they didn't stop Marine Le Pen tonight in France. Do you think they're not going to try and do that to Jair Bolsonaro in Brazil, to Matteo Salvini in Italy, to Sebastian Kurz in Austria, to Viktor Orban?
So they're not in, but they are in. Looking at this, gutting, say least, at the same time. Disappointing, say least. I'm going like that. I am like. So they're not in, but they are in. Looking at this, gutting, say least, at the same time. What do we expect? Going through the votes, we've certainly not got a place as an MEP. I want to say a special thank you to every single person who supported it. We had an amazing month anyway. It just shows the power. When you're trying to combat something and you can't...
I have the power!
You can't talk to them.
Man.
You can't get support. That's the power they have. And there's only one answer to it, is to carry on fighting. It's a long fight. It's a tiring fight. I want a week off. I'm going home to bed for a week. I'm going home. My wife's up here, so I'm going to get out of here. Go see my wife. And say a special thank you to every single person who supported me in this campaign. If you supported to keep me alive, because I genuinely didn't think I'd be alive by the end of it, with what was happening. And we're happy with their results? No. Do I trust any results? No. Do I trust anything to do with the media all working together, conspiring together.
Candidates and agents, you are now about to receive the provisional results for Halton and Trafford at
we certainly aren't in, so good night.
5.
So there we have it. Illuminati deep state, obviously. Sky News introduced them. I'm reading for the Tommy Graham. Sky News introduced him as the leader of the... Oh, brilliant. I don't think I'm tripping here. I think that's a video of the thing that Ezra Levant had that Tommy said, I bet you none of the mainstream media will broadcast it, but it was getting broadcast on Sky News. Rupert Murdoch's outfit, coincidentally. Anywho, what we do? Go back to...
As soon as we hear more from Jessica there at the command post.
Word
I'm just going to reestablish a connection with Toronto here. I've got a lot of things going on. I've got 3 computer monitors here. I've got
oh wow,
in my ear back to headquarters in Toronto. Just if you could take me off reverb, thanks. And so there's a lot of moving parts here. Well, we will go back to Jessica because I thought her cover.
Not to mention the sticks on your arms. Fuzzy bear.
Announcement is made, and we were told to expect that official announcement at about 11, and it's 10:40 here in Manchester now.
Tommy Robinson, 40,000 votes.
Going back to what Jessica said in her last little update, she talked about the snickering.
I think that's scary though, that you can get 40,000 votes.
And I suppose that was sort of my last point about that no politician seemed to care.
Mental.
I've watched
small
the
army
slow encroachment of this censorship in the United States. First they went after Milo Yiannopoulos because he's just a wild child. And
I bet you a pedo,
Alex
sex
Jones
pest
of InfoWars because he had conspiracy theories.
Wee bit of a... Oh, he just wants to be bathed in applause.
Tommy. Thanks for trying for us, darling. Cheers, man. Thanks. Thanks for trying, Tommy.
Yeah, thank you.
Tommy.
It's just a start.
No fun now that we know Tommy's not going to win.
We're going to have 25 venues, didn't we? You missed my
Yeah, go on, mate. And then I've got to quickly go for my interview later.
We do love your old Tommy. 40,000. That's scary.
Yeah, give it out.
There's Godtard. I'm a journalist, look at my stick. My lord, man. See, when I become ruler of the universe, right, I'm going to dictate to every cunt. Please don't make my fucking songs, the songs I'm going to force you to sing about me, the songs of simpletons. Maybe stick in a wee bit more than 3 syllables per song. I'd be happy with that.
The crowd of supporters for Tommy waiting outside to hear the...
Hey, Stephanie in the suit! There's just the first one off my top of my head for Tommy Robinson. Who's Stephanie in the suit? Who's Stephanie? Who's Stephanie? Who's Stephanie in Rupert Bear's suit? Who's Who's the fanny and Rupert Bear suit? That would be my first one for Tommy.
For them and for the working class and for average.
Who sniffed all the lanes? Who sniffed all the lanes? Tommy Cocknose, he sniffed all the lanes. Woo! See, there's two. She's Duffy Street, but boo! Fucking look, knocking these down. Two songs copyrighted. Right, who sniffed all the lanes? Who sniffed all the lanes? Tommy's Cocknose, that will sniff all the lanes. Oh no, shit. Illuminati Deep State made me do that. Hacked my mouse. Live on air, you seen it?
Everywhere we go, even the other lads there who aren't our supporters. I just think, how can that only account to 40,000? It can't. It can't. You've seen the support everywhere you go. It can't. It can't. Not that I'm a bit of a loser, but you know, if I lost on a fair playing field, I think, all right, I'll take that. I'll swallow that. But when you're up against, and when you have certain rules that everyone can spend the same. But there's tax, yeah, go on. That everyone can spend the same, and that's for a reason that it's fair. But yet then others can use social media to reach the public and others can't. Talk to them. Ring the number. Is there a number on it?
Well, we'll be back with Ezra.
Who sniffed all the lanes?
We'll see you soon.
Who sniffed all the lanes? Tommy Cocknose, he sniffed all the lanes.
Our dear friend Jessica, a student journalist from Toronto, we threw her in the deep a few weeks ago covering Tommy's campaign. She did such a good job.
All he does is whine, all he does is whine. Tommy Robinson, all he does is whine. Who sniffed all the lanes? Who whines all the time? Tommy Robinson, he sniffs and whines all the time. Hey man, just freestyling, jamming here. Tommy, you can have that as long as your fucking milkshake suit as well, you bastard.
Candidates to stand outside on the cold street in Manchester waiting for Tommy just to give him a hug and a cheer and to chant for him. That's the personal affection. I've seen it myself as I've traveled around the UK with Tommy. It's a personal connection. And what is that? I mean, with other politicians, people say, right on, I support your party.
Right on, man.
It's something different
right
because
on.
They know he's a voice for this forgotten man. Like quoted Morrissey earlier, lifeguard.
Aye, the Nathaniel.
Sleeping girl drowning. If you know that song by Mars.
The ape man. I'm an ape man. I'm an ape man. I'm an ape man.
And
I don't want to live in this world no more. There's too many brown people at my door. I'm an ape man. I'm an ape man. I'm an ape man.
They're treated as nobody's nothings, aren't they? But Tommy goes there. I mean, I didn't know what the word council flats meant until this.
I'm an ape man. I just want to sing and dance.
Would be called housing projects.
I was really a singing dance. I was really a Billy Elliot trying to get out. That's what I really am. Want to put up getting ballet shoes for my fucking Christmas.
And politicians normally don't go there. But Tommy did, and he met with them, and he treated them with respect, and he looked them in the eye. And he had a statistic that he quoted, and if I recall it, it's that of all the MPs in the House of Commons here,
a cup of tea can we do?
Although they claim to speak for working men and women, only 4%.
And fucking Fuzzy Bear, what the fuck you saying, man? Piss you rabbiting on about.
And so while we're waiting for Jessica and Tommy to return here,
Jessica Rabbit,
to what I was going to show you before we cut off for Jessica's very interesting videos. And this is a video that sums up to me the connection Tommy has with the forgotten people, with the nobodies, nothings. And this is an illustration of how and why he is beloved, and I've seen it with my own eyes. So here, Justin, if you've got that video.
Oh, I've seen the cult of Tommy Robinson with my own eyes as well. And I've fucking slipped in the drill, Fuzzy Bear. For reals.
I think you know the one I mean.
Not that I'm a bit of a loser, but
so it's 6.5 minutes.
You know, if I lost on a fair playing field,
quick, Tommy.
To return,
no,
and we'll talk with them for a
where's King Tommy, man? I heard Tommy. I couldn't see Tommy, but I could see him. I could hear him. I knew he was here. Tommy, talk to me, man. Talk to me, Tommy.
You know, in Canada and the United States, we don't have the same, working class. We don't It doesn't have the same meaning. Watch this video to understand a little bit about
There's not a downtrodden fucking proud to be scumbag class in America and Canada. They're not as well trained as us. God, that was a vampire!
The 22nd of May.
Real life vampire!
Happy birthday, babe. Love you. Wait, the 22nd of May is a date everyone should remember. Lee Rigby was beheaded 6 years ago today. I remember in the weeks afterwards, David Cameron set up a government task force to combat and stop Islamic extremism. He had a 5-year plan. What's happened over those 5 years? 2,000 Muslims have gone out to fight for ISIS. We've seen multiple terrorist attacks. Terrorism arrests go up 60% every year. He's failed. Our government has failed. 2 years ago today, what happened in the beautiful city of Manchester? We witnessed our children attacked.
The babies! They ate the babies! The Muslims invaders, they put them on in kebabs. And they're selling them in kebab shops. Skewered babies. They're eating our children. Fucking... Does he never watch himself back and see how weird it is that he's constantly viewing the world through your mobile phone? I'm guilty of this shit.
The visible Jews over here are standing with us. The Jews don't stand with Labour anymore. You're anti-Semitic. It's you that's anti-Semitic. I'm a proud. They're shouting never again. The Star of David flies in our clouds. There's no Star of David flying in yours. We are proudly Star of Israel. When we win tomorrow, with your help, when we win tomorrow,
when we win tomorrow. Oh, have a
Going back
milkshake.
Stern, somebody threw a McDonald's milkshake right in the side of the face.
Not funny. Oh, Illuminati deep state. Look, fucking fucking with me. I've seen that live. God, man, they're over-modulating this fucking sound and it's fucking horrible to listen to, man. I don't know how to sort it out.
Who have social problems for supporting me. Matthew, get up here, because this is my mum anyway.
Oh, look at that. When I'm licking windows, you should see what I have seen. When he's licking... Look at that. I didn't spot the box of Oreos in his inside pocket, man. I mean, come on, fuck. Might as well be walking about with a fucking window, fucking plastered teeth. Look, even Tommy Robinson laughing at the guy. Yeah, fuck your mum and dad! Or your mum and sister, sorry. Fuck them! He's not staying with his granny.
I travel this country, and I can tell you, that is the minority, this is the majority, yeah? I'm telling
you. Who's that? R. Kelly? What the fuck is that?
tomorrow, come on! It's about time the people in this country let them know how you're feeling. It's no good shouting at the TV. It's no good moaning in the pub. This is your moment. It's your moment to send every single one of them a message.
This is my moment. I think my tea might be ready.
Send the media a message. Send them all a message. Tell them tomorrow you stand on the side of freedom. You stand on the side of truth. And you stand on the side of Tommy Robinson. Come on.
Don't tell Tommy, but that woman's actually one of my plants, and that wee lion has got camera and microphone in it, and I'm getting intel for MI66 against Tommy. So Deep State Illuminati can bring him down. Downtown. Has he got Tourette's, or is he winking at cunts all the time? I can never figure it out. I don't know if it's just his cocaine twitch. Nothing says freedom like being surrounded by a wall of gorillas. Freedom! Fuck's sake, Gaddafi could fucking wander the streets fucking freer than Tommy Robinson can. Oh, anyway, shit.
Welcome back. What do you think?
Fucking went into a Tommy Robinson trance there, that music. I was like, oh, Tommy time, mofos. Oh, look, they've updated their fucking abacus.
Of course, I've been busy in Canada, but Jessica was out there. Excuse me. That's really what it's like. People coming up to him. I thought that marriage proposal was just very, unusual. I wouldn't have guessed. And that young lad who said, my mom and my sister kicked me out of the house, and I don't care. That made me chuckle a little bit. As you can see, some of the results on the screen.
Uh-oh. Told you, this fucking Deep State Illuminati's right out to get me tonight. Might be able to fix it. Let me just see. Onto my MI66 contacts. Boom. Nearly boom. Hold on. Boom.
The remaining votes.
Thank you.
Until you fill all 8 slots. It has definitely been a Brexit night. I was just looking at social media while we were playing that Tommy clip, and I see that
I thought
Brexit
you were banned for
has
social
just
media,
crushed it in Sunderland, which is right near Newcastle. I've been to Sunderland a number of times. That's where Chelsea Wright is, and John Fletcher. We had a number of campaigns there when Tommy was working for the Rebel. It's a very Labour town, or at least it used to be. Now it's a Brexit town. Labour has, I think, been schizophrenic on leave and remain in Brexit. I think that their heart is with big government, globalism, open immigration, extremism, but their working class roots are leave. So it's interesting to me to see Brexit eat some of the lunch of the Labour Party. I noticed that Corbyn didn't even win his own borough. I thought that was very interesting. I think Jessica and Tommy on their way back here, but why don't I take a moment to read some super chats, because some very nice super chats.
Let's see. We can get some results from the BBC. Brexit, I'm sure that's Nigel Vag. Liberal Democrats, the Greens. I heard a lot of people said they were going to vote for the Greens because fucking no cunt else is. Fuck it. They want to save the planet. Who can really argue with that? The rest of them's a bunch of scumbags. I heard a lot of people say that. Boom. Conservatives, Labour, devastated. Change, UK, but they have the +4, but they didn't have anything to start with. So I don't really think that counts. Plus, I think that was just the people who thought that was the transsexual party getting confused. UKIP, down, whatever. East of England. Northwest.
On to, as you say, in a part of the country where UKIP have done so strongly in the past, and there has been traditionally a very strong pro-Brexit sentiment there.
Does East of England contain Cambridge and
of course
Norwich?
it does. Of course it does. Because that's where you're going to get lots of that support. So what do we make of that?
I think it's quite interesting that actually the Brexit Party have repeated UKIP's success in 2014. UKIP got 3 in the east of England in 2014. Now the Brexit Party has 3 as well. So in a sense, I think that's absolutely right. We've seen a clear switch here from UKIP to Brexit. Interestingly, of course, the first named MEP there is Richard Tice, who is the chairman of the Brexit Party. So I think what's also coming out for me from these results is we've seen this huge resurgence of the Brexit Party. We've seen the growth of a new party. But I wonder too if we're also seeing the death of 2 parties in these elections too. The death of Change
Labour
UK, which really hasn't got off the ground at all, and the death of UKIP.
Oh, see my tea? Proper stuff, man, look. Straight from the source, but it is amazing tea. You get a lovely wee wooden box with it and everything.
To leave the European Union, we're trying to leave with a deal, but we recognise the frustration of many of our voters that we haven't managed to do that.
But for the governing party to be so far behind, I mean, what does that say? I mean, this is not just, oh, it's a difficult night, that's the traditional thing we hear around the table. This is disastrous.
It's a roasting, isn't it?
But, I mean, this is a very strong message to us, the frustration that we have not managed to deliver Brexit that we set out to do, and how annoyed, frustrated voters are with us, and I've heard it on the doorstep.
But what's it going to change in a parliament where the government has no
Fuck
majority? What's going to change?
I mean, you're right that it's really difficult for us to do it in practice. People are very frustrated with Parliament as a whole, and we don't have a majority, so it's been really difficult to deliver on the referendum result.
Surely it's
but no,
also-
we have to.
Yes, Emma.
Yes. Can I just say that? I mean, I think the one piece of good news, I've just been looking it up, is that Stephen Yaxley Lennon has had an absolute pasting. I am absolutely delighted about that.
There we go.
No, yes.
His stage name being Toby Robinson. He's a nasty little man, and he's been completely defeated. So that's a bit of good news.
I agree with him.
But I think that the
I agree
other
with
thing,
him.
I would just go back to what I said originally, is that this is a single issue election. If we don't have a clear message on that single issue, we will be punished. We have been punished, and Labour needs to learn that lesson and needs to learn it fast.
How will that lesson be learned, Emily? What's the mechanism for that lesson being learned within the party?
I think that what will happen is that obviously the National Executive Committee will look at the result. We always do after results in order to find out what we should learn. And we are a big democratic party. Many of our members will have strong views about it, and will be making those views clear. We need to make sure that we listen carefully, as I say, not just to what they think, but to what they were told on the doorstep by voters.
How receptive do you think the leadership will be to, well, you're part of the leadership, but how receptive will the leadership be to that message?
I mean, Jeremy is overwhelmingly a Democrat, so I'm quite sure that he will listen to the membership and listen to the experiences and learn from it.
Because, traditionally it's been said, and Laura's told us many times that...
Right, who said this the other day? I can't even remember. It might even been on the face bag or something, right? Now, the Brexit Party, is that Nigel Farage? I'm pretty sure the Brexit Party, oh look, plus 33. That's all you need to know. Nigel Farage, I'm sure it's Nigel Farage. If it's Nigel Farage, I'd like to see who else is in there. And it was on the face bag, somebody put out there, Nigel Farage, PM, could happen.
2019 is as follows. Animal Welfare Party, 25,232.
Woo, man, the animals, fuck the humans,
Change
woohoo!
UK, the independent group, 117,635. Conservative and Unionist Party, 177,964.
Where is
Green
this?
Party, 278,957. Labour Party, 536,810.
City Hall, fucking where?
Liberal Democrats, 608,725. The Brexit Party, 400,257. UK European Union Party, UK EUP, 18,806. UK Independence Party, UKIP, 46,497. Women's
Lib Dems,
Equality
Labour,
Party,
Brexit,
23,766.
Well, there's a lot to take in there, isn't there? Let's look at the elected members.
Right, now, shows that again, that was interesting.
Electoral region, topping the poll for the Lib Dems, Irina von Wiese, and then Claude Moraes, who's a very long-standing member of the European Parliament for Labour, in second place. The Brexit Party's Benjamin Habib, and then another Lib Dem member, Dinesh Damja, and then we have the Greens, Scott Ainsley, the Labour Party's Sebastian Dance, another Lib Dem, Louisa Porritt, and the Brexit Party's Lance Foreman. And no Conservatives in sight. And that is quite a that's quite a turn up. Let's look at the tally.
Hardwiring from
once
being a
again,
youngster in
we'll
Scotland.
see that now Lib Dems, from nowhere last time, now have 3 MEPs representing London. That's the strength of their surge in the London region. Labour have 2. They've lost 2 of their MEPs. The Brexit Party are on 2 seats. The Greens are on 1, and the
UKIP
Tories have
don't even
lost
make
the
it
2
onto
that they
the-
had last time. The
onto the
Change
board.
UK Party, the new party, don't have
Oh,
any.
they do.
The UKIP grouping last time, which was just a solitary MEP, that's also been lost. If we look at the share of the vote, because that's also useful for us in terms of the Lib Dem performance here, and let's look at that. 27% of the vote to the Lib Dems in London. Labour Party on
when their opponent is silenced, because free speech is one of those gifts you have to give to your opponent if you want it for yourself. That's what I sensed when you said those words.
Well, yeah, it
Not
was
trying to
sad
put words
because
in your
people
mouth,
were
but I'm putting words in your
happy
mouth.
about it. People were like cheering about the fact that he lost, and it's like they're not.
Of course,
they're
everybody hates
ignoring
him,
the
you dumb
pattern that
thing,
Alex
you.
Jones, and then the next person, and then all of a sudden one day there's another 5 bunch of conservatives. They
Wicked
they
witch
think they're
with
immune
white
because
face
they're mainstream media
and a wig.
as of now.
Jenna, look at her. Check that fucking
Tommy, I thought
witch
you had a
nose out,
chance
man.
because I saw the energy in the crowds and we played some of your videos. But you're right.
White
if
faced
you
over a green skin.
debark a dog, if you give a laryngectomy to a watchdog, he can watch, but he can't bark. You know what I mean? You're like a
calling
watchdog,
Tommy Robinson
guard
a dog.
and they silence your voice, so you're like
punch somebody.
No one can hear the alarm.
If it's, you see, if I lost a fair fight, if I lost a fight, you lost the fight. Huh? But if you lost a fight that's not fair, that's even, and that's what this was. So it is hard to swallow.
Protesters, what's going on? While my back was turned, somebody threw a McDonald's milkshake.
The reason you can spend
right
the same
inside
amount,
the
all
face.
these laws in the electoral commission are so that the playing fields are equal in a campaign. Playing fields not just equal, not just unfair. When you've got every other candidate I'm up against can use social media, but they can promote themselves from social media. They can use advertising campaigns to promote themselves. But people were specifically in organisations, left-wing funded globalist organisations, were specifically using social media to attack, slander, lie, and demonise about me. And I have no platform to counter that. And as we go through the years, that's now. As we go through.
He's got no platform to counter that on social media as he's sitting live on social media. Guy's absolutely... He's not delusional. It's just populist bullshit rhetoric. Paint yourself as the victim. Woe's me.
I'm gutted for, not for myself, I'm gutted for my movement of people.
For my fans.
And felt so much love. And I see the support. And I've been saying to people, I still say, even just walk through, I see the support. Everywhere I go, I see the support. It's getting them involved in politics, which was all.
It's getting them away from licking windows and fucking putting X's in box. Putting an X in the box is harder than licking windows.
Group. Reporters Without Borders. Civil Liberties Associations.
And they didn't
Amnesty
know it.
International.
Boom! See how I done that,
returned in
Ezra?
person for contempt of court. And a lot of people wrote to Amnesty, and they copied me on their letters and on their replies. And Amnesty said, "Oh, well, he was in violation of contempt of court. That's not what we care about." Well, when the Court of Appeal said you were improperly convicted, Amnesty didn't say, "Oh, well, we better correct the record." All these so-called civil liberties groups, civil rights groups, none of them have made a peep about you being silenced in any way. I think that's a problem.
Say hello.
Well, there's your youngin'.
All right, son. Sorry, guy.
Tommy's got a live stream within a live stream.
How you doing, babe?
Of his little one.
I'm sorry, but I lost, babes. I know. We'll keep fighting, mate. Keep fighting. Hey?
I tell you,
right?
Tommy's kids are so cute. I wish we could show you how cute they were, but of course, the bad guys
he just ran into the lounge on TV and he looked at it and just goes, "Look, it's me, it's me." He just ran in.
Well, I wish I could show you his family, but
I love you, son. Yeah.
God, I think Tommy Robinson slipped in. Yes, slipped into a pure FaceTime psychosis.
No problem, Tommy. It was great. I was just saying that, I wish. I've had
too much cocaine, too much smoke up your arse, and too much technology.
But I wish
crazy
we could show
combination.
people how wonderful your family is. I think one's family is a reflection of oneself, and your family is so wonderful. But I know we can't ever show them in public because the left wing is so full of rage and hatred. They would actually wish it for harm to come to your family.
They do.
Oh my God!
We know they do.
Who's that? The dirty, stinky brown people?
I didn't want to be. I didn't want my supporters to be deflated. Now,
the fact that they're
because, as I said, I see the support everywhere we go. It's now on a positive. This is I've had knockbacks throughout the years. This is the least of them. Trust me, I've been in some bad situations. This is certainly not the worst.
Just ask his missus.
I'm planning to move forward. Got a court case on the 4th of July. We've got to fight that again. And
I thought you said there was no earlier on. You told me there was no criminal procedures. Now you're fucking remembering about it all of a sudden.
It's going to affect us. It's going to affect us all.
Jessica, what do you think? You had an interesting experience there. Tommy was a
who sniffed all... Oh, I forgot about my wee songs. Who sniffed all the lines? Who whines all the time? Tommy Cocknose, he whines and sniffs lines all the time.
Asking who, what, why, where, when type questions. What are your thoughts on the UK media? I have my thoughts, and I've been sharing them for 2 years now.
Well, the UK public's thoughts on Fuzzy Bear and his Wicked Witch co-host. Fuck off back to your own country, you nationalist bastards. Go and eat fucking moosies or whatever you do in Mountie country. Fuck moosies, I heard.
Part.
Moose
and
fuckers.
It's funny because there was at one of the rallies, there was hundreds of people there for Tommy, and there was one reporter from the local paper
who let a moose loose about her puss.
and she spent the entire time talking to those protesters. I didn't see her going around talking to the supporters, because when you do talk to the supporters, they have a lot to say. Yeah. They have a lot to say compared to when you go speak to a protester and you ask them simply why. They just start calling names and they don't have anything
Look
to say.
at Tommy Robinson, genuine picks.
You know, it's very interesting. Tommy, I've just got in my hand here a whole bunch of super chats directed to
what have you got in your hand, Ezra?
And have you give a quick answer?
Oh, can I whip it out? Whip through it?
Jesus says you are the man, Tommy. Never give
Ezra, turning me on.
I'm never giving up. My wife was sorry, babe. She's on their side.
Survivor 71 Abby says you are out there, Tommy. You've proved to the establishment, your supporters, that you will not be held down. Thank you.
Sorry, I missed that. I was asking my wife.
You proved to the establishment, your supporters, you'll never be held down. Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you, every one of you. Because even to fight this fight that we've fought, or to continue fighting it, I've needed the support of the people, which I've had. Everywhere I walk, I know I'm not alone. So
I'm just going to bang through some really quick ones. Waski 1, thanks very much, Ezra and Jessica. We love our Tommy. Yvonne Sputz says, you're our winner.
We love you, Tommy. We do. We love you, Tommy. We do. You might be a little undercover racist bastard, but we don't know what to do. I'm working on these lyrics. They are probably a bit like poo. But Tommy Robinson, we love you.
Will you be godfather to them?
Can't equal my
Tommy,
earlier
which
success.
one?
No chance.
Rhea Hill. Tommy, we donated. Will you be godfather to them? I assume they were
Peak too
referring to
early.
their own kids.
Jump the motherfucking shark and that shit.
William Lavagna. Tommy, you achieved so much. You've made the fake media even more transparent during your campaign. They want
Oh,
you to
you
do that,
have,
never back
Tommy.
down.
You've made the fake media even more faker than they were fakeness
Labour
before.
Party, the Conservative Party took a right kicking, and that's what they deserve because of Brexit. So it's a positive that's come out of it. I would say is I'd love to sit here and say, right, Brexit Party is brilliant. The Brexit Party is another party. They're great on the European Union, but they won't talk about the issues. They won't talk about Islam. It's another politically correct party. We're not any further in politics or shaking up the political system in this country. It's not like we now have a voice that's going to rock the establishment, that's going to talk about all the issues. One thing is for sure, we set history. We've got the biggest support an independent's ever got. So that's my positive spin on this. And yeah, it doesn't end. It doesn't end. And again, we keep fighting, and it's been, if anything, I've had an amazing month. My wife's gone out of the room now, so I've had a brilliant time. It's been absolutely tiring, exhausted. I felt like I hit a brick wall. I felt so run down when I just went home for 3 days, just knackered. But I've had a great time. So thank you to everyone.
Who sniffed all the lanes? Who sniffed all the lanes? Tommy Cocknose, Tommy Cocknose, he sniffs all the lanes. Who ain't all the time? Who sniffs all the lanes?
It's in many
Tommy
countries around the world.
Cocknose, Tommy
So to go for a
Cocknose,
geographic
sniffing lanes
base,
and whining all
even
the
though North England's a
time.
big place, but there are 8 regions like that in the UK. So to extrapolate that, I mean, if you ran in any one place, that's good.
My Saturn ring? What's my Saturn ring? You talking about my arse? That's my usual analogy is Uranus. But what Saturn ring are you talking about? As far as I'm aware, I don't know these to be anything ever referred to as a Saturn ring. But hey ho, what the fuck would I know? They're just my fucking rings.
I don't understand. I don't understand the logic is behind any of it. It makes no sense. Should have had the election today. The election should have been today, or last night. I don't know, but I don't trust the establishment at all, as everyone knows. I don't trust the media. I think that I think considering.
Lay off the crack,
Yeah,
Tommy,
I've
man.
considered
You get a little less
Again,
paranoid, mate.
I've learned a lot as well. I wish that I'd have known that this election campaign was going to be coming on for 6 weeks or a few months beforehand. We just all of a sudden, right, we're doing a campaign. What do we do? Because none of us knew. What do we do? Right, let's go. And we give it. There's one thing I wouldn't, which I explained to my wife. I don't want to go up there and leave anything so that I can think afterwards. Well, I should have done this. I should have done that. So I completely threw myself into it, and so did my supporters. And yeah.
Well, listen, Tommy, a fight well fought. Your first electoral outing, 40,000 plus votes.
Right, there's 2 microphones and only 2 people speaking. So, I'm all for equal rights for women and all that, but she ain't saying jack. The Wicked Witch of the West, who's in whiteface in a wig, has lost the ability to talk.
Where I'm from, in North America. In Canada, in
moose fucker.
the United States, there's a lot of things to learn here. What they did to you, the depersoning, the censoring, they will do others. You are a test case. Well, Tommy, thanks for spending so much of the evening with us. Jessica, thanks for doing such a great job these past few weeks. Let's one last your thoughts on the evening, and then I'll give my final word, and we'll give the last word of the night to Tommy. Give your thoughts for. I mean, you came here as a student journalist. Mm-hmm. You followed Tommy from afar.
Is that more text really, by Tommy?
Deeply into the story. What are your thoughts here after the campaign and the next result?
Well, of course, I've seen a lot of news about Tommy in the past. And then meeting Tommy in person and talking to him and not even just like with interviews, but just casually talking. He is a normal person. He's not this monster that the media is trying to make him out to be. He's a regular guy, honest. Regular, you know, as regular
guy.
And it was
with
just
regular
it was amazing
teeth.
to see before you got there tonight and when you left that your supporters were there the whole time. The movement behind you is so strong, and I think you agree. You don't want them to give up. You don't want.
Oh, is this crazy professor?
One election.
I just want to listen to him. He knows about the flux capacitor.
And as I said, for anyone feeling deflated, I've felt deflated many times over the last 10 years.
Take a wee line. Who sniffs all the limes?
Shock people and surprise people. So to the opposition to the left, to the establishment who think, well, that's them beat down, and then bang, we're back. And we'll be coming bang back. So yeah, yeah.
Well, that's great. Tommy, thank you. Jessica, thank you. I would just like to say thanks to Ed, who helped us here at our Manchester headquarters. Special thanks.
Manchester headquarters. A fucking broom cupboard somewhere with a 5G connection. Is our over and ask her over and out radio silence, pretending they're like fucking James Bond or some shit.
Back in Canada. And to all of you rebels around the world who have supported us, who supported Tommy, who supported us tonight through Super Chats, thank you for that. We're certainly not going anywhere. We'll be reporting on things tomorrow. We'll be back here. Jessica and I will be back in the UK on July 14th to cover Tommy's yet again another contempt hearing at the Old Bailey. Until next time, on behalf of us here at Rebel Media, to you at home, wherever you are around the world, good night. And keep fighting for freedom.
Freedom, dum dum dums. Right, let's listen to the flux capacitor.
Much more clearly in favour of a second referendum, and that therefore, despite their attempts to compromise, both
Tommy Robinson didn't win. Update: he got 40,000 votes, which is less than 2% of the electorate, which gets some sweet Fanny Adams. I do believe. That's my best interpretation.
difficult to live.
But it's no real, it's deep state Illuminati have hacked them.
Absolutely crucial to the Conservatives' electoral fortunes, and for the Labour Party being much more clearly a Remain party. It won't be costless. There are still some Leave voters who are voting for the Labour Party, but frankly there aren't that many of them left, and the Labour Party is at the moment certainly much more clearly
Overboard?
at risk of losing ground amongst its Remain voters, who have now suddenly discovered the Liberal Democrats and also the Greens, who are also up quite noticeably and probably going to put in their best performance
Back to the Future
since
music.
their dramatic performance in 1989. Their voters have been going in that direction.
Don't need money.
And that's not something the Labour Party can contemplate going on for very long.
John, we'll
don't need a credit
Thank you very much, Tom
card
Curtis, there for us.
to
In a
ride
moment,
this
I'll talk
train.
To, the latest entrant into the studio, who's the prominent anti-Brexit campaigner, the former Labour advisor, Alistair Campbell. Good
Rain
to have
Man
you with us,
abilities.
Alistair. Thanks very much. Suzanne's still with us, which is great. Rita, first of all, take us through some of these results, and you've got two interesting things here to compare and contrast two leaders.
Something that shows very starkly what's going on this evening, Hugh. So we've been hearing how the two main parties have been getting a thrashing at the hands of voters. Just look at this.
She genuinely does look like a Romulan. But anyway.
Performances of the two main parties.
I mean, if she did go on Star Trek, she could be a Romulan. I think that's the one. Seen it on the National Geographical channel. She could be a genuine Romulan. Easy for me to say. With no makeup.
With the Brexit Party topping the poll, the Liberal Democrats coming a very strong second on 31%, and the Conservatives on 13%. And if I just
so
do this and
show
you how the share of the voters changed from 5 years ago, look at that. Labour dropping 19% in Islington.
19%.
Conservatives
Ooh,
26%
big number.
down.
Woo, big.
So
dear
really
me.
Painful results.
Really
there
painful. Painful.
Well, Rita, thanks very much, and that presents its own interesting thing for us. I'm going to ask Alistair a very blunt question first of all, as someone who spent
very
years
blunt,
under 10
Alistair.
with Tony Blair, and before that, as a prominent Labour figure. How did you vote?
What is your sexual preference?
I didn't vote Labour for the first time in my life.
Wow.
And it was a very, very strange feeling, but I just felt on this issue, at this time, I think the Labour Party has let its own supporters down, it's let its own members down, and I think it's let the
Tony
country
Blair's
down
going to get you
in the
killed.
way that it has failed properly to devise a policy that the party and the country could unite around, and the way that it failed to campaign. As a campaigner, I mean, fair play to Nigel Farage's party, they campaigned. The Conservatives and Labour, John Howarth, an MEP...
I'm going to stop you for a second, Alistair, just to go to the Welsh result.
Southampton.
Come back straight away.
Election of members to serve in the European Parliament for the electoral
Where's
region
this?
of Wales, held on the 23rd of May 2019, do hereby give notice that the total number of votes recorded for each registered party in that region is as follows. Etholiad Senedd Ewrop, Ranbath Etholiadol, Cymru. Yr oedd fi, Ian
What's
Wesley,
this foreign muck-muck?
sefydlswyddog canlyniadau rhanbarthol dros Gymru.
Oh, pal!
An etholiad ar eiledau.
They're in blighty. You're on the BBC speaking Queen's Own.
Un Senedd Ewrop
dros Welsh Walpa.
So the results for the Welsh region will be done bilingually and they'll announce them in English and then in Welsh. So this is the returning officer and the count is taking place in Pembrokeshire in Haverfordwest.
I can speak Welsh.
Change UK, the independent group, 24,000 332.
32. See, that's the numbers in Welsh. See, I know that.
Live and Unionist Party.
I'm multicultural.
4,587. 54,587. Green Party, Plaid Wedd. 52,660. 52,660. Labour Party, Llafur, 127,833, 127,833. Liberal Democrats,
My poking fun at the Welsh language and my Celtic brothers is all done in jest. And just for the Welsh out there, said it in Welsh again.
I'm sorry, I'll say that number again.
You know, hear me, pal. My Welsh is spot on. Oh, let's look at the numbers.
The Party of Wales.
Makes more sense when you see the numbers.
160.
I get tired listening to that language.
928. The Brexit Party, 271,404, 271,404, and the UK Independence Party, UKIP, 27,566, 27,566. The total number of ballot papers rejected was 5,655.
Every one of them are Tommy Roberts, UKIP, Windy Liquor. That's exactly what he just said in Welsh there. He was like, every one of the valid ones, invalid ones, was a UKIP, Windy Liquor.
Candidates are duly elected as the 4 members for the said electoral region.
Where is he, Southampton?
Droihin and Datgad Vod.
So there are 4 MEPs that will now be listed for Wales, and I think this result will be quite an eye-opener.
Rhanbarth Etholiadol. Nathan Lee Gill, the Brexit Party.
Come on, the good guys, and down with the bad guys. Woo! Yeah, come on, the good, so down with the bad. Yay! See, good guy or bad guy? That man or a woman? I don't know. Woo! Men, women, good, bad. Woo! Come on!
Cymru, the Party of Wales.
Woo! Yeah, we're on the sheep shaggers.
James Freeman Wells, the Brexit Party. And Jacqueline Marguerite Jones, Labour Party, Llafur.
Jacqueline Jones.
So
good evening, Dr. Jones.
The 4 MEPs elected for Wales, 2 of them from the Brexit Party, 1 for Plaid Cymru and 1 for Labour. So if we look at the tally itself, that's so Nathan Gill of the Brexit Party speaking there, the former UKIP MEP, of course.
Means that these have more and less and less and more and more and less and less and more.
And Plaid Cymru on 1. We're going to go straight from Pembrokeshire to Birmingham to the West Midlands.
Midlands region for the European parliamentary elections held on Thursday the 23rd of May 2019 do hereby declare the number of votes cast for each party as follows. Change UK, the independent group, 45,673. Conservative and Unionist Party, 135,279. Party 143,520. Labour Party 228,298. Liberal Democrats 219,982.
Fucking shitty headphones
The
last 2
Brexit
hours and then
Party,
it's gone.
507,152. UK Independence Party, UKIP, 66,934. Total rejected ballots, 8,378. I therefore declare that the following candidates have been duly elected for the West Midlands region. First seat, Rupert James Graham Lowe, the Brexit Party. Second seat, Martin Edward Daubney, the Brexit Party. Fourth seat, Roger Philip Bennion, Liberal Democrats. Fifth seat, Andrew Robert England Kerr, the Brexit Party. Sixth seat, Eleanor Elizabeth Chowns, the Green Party. Seventh seat, Anthea Elizabeth Joy McIntyre, Conservative and Unionist Party.
Well, look at that result from the West Midlands.
Woo!
Remember, the Lib Dems taking a seat, the Greens taking a seat, and the Conservatives taking a seat as well. Let's look at the tally then, because that'll tell us what's happened from last time. So, 3 seats to the Brexit Party. Labour on 1, they've lost a seat. The Lib Dems have gained a seat. The Greens have gained a seat, another strong performance by Lib Dems and Greens as well. The Tories have lost a seat, and UKIP's 3 seats have disappeared, but the Brexit Party have picked up 3. Let's look at the share of the vote. So the Brexit Party on 38%, the Labour Party on 17%,
Northwest,
the Lib Dems on 16%, which is a strong showing by them, and a strong showing as well by the Greens. And the Conservatives really down significantly on last time. If we look at the change in the share of the vote, you'll see what I mean. So let's look at the change from last time. And you'll see that Labour are down 10%, Lib Dems are up 11%, the Greens are up 5%. But look, the Conservatives are down 14%. So back to the number of seats again, just to tie this up.
That's bad,
the West Midlands, such a vital electoral area, as we know, and certainly in Westminster terms, there'll be lots of focusing on some of these results in terms of what it could mean for a general election if it comes later this year. Brexit Party on 3, Labour on 1, the Lib Dems on 1, the Greens on 1, the Tories on 1. That's where we are. Laura, that's quite a result as well.
It is quite a result, and following on from what we just saw, the result from Wales, where Labour was into third place. Yeah. I mean, what we are seeing, a pattern, is still early days, but the pattern is the Brexit Party is taking the UKIP inheritance and building very successfully on it. And then the pro-Remain parties, the Liberal Democrats and the Greens, both gobbling up votes in parts of the country that aren't necessarily obvious for them. What does that tell us? It tells us that in this set of elections, clarity is winning on either side. And the 2 main Westminster parties have been trying in various ways to kind of come up with a softer Brexit or some kind of compromise here, there and everywhere. They are losing out to parties on both sides who are saying, here's a clear message. It might be stopping Brexit, it might be doing it straight away even if we don't have a deal. Clarity is the winner.
Just an interesting note before...
clarity is the winner. I think the fact that every cunt wants out of fucking the EU is the winner.
People who voted Change UK in Wales, if they'd voted Lib Dem...
Clarity is the winner. You seen that statement when there's election results coming in? Oh, anyway. Koonsberg
is very valid in terms of the way that's broken down.
Absolutely, and in terms of what happens next in this crazy period in politics, whether or not the forces of Remain, if you want to call them that, can actually get together is a big question mark. It'll be very critical to see how they answer it. I mean, since the referendum, frankly, the Remain really done a great job of being able to get together on anything. They struggled with Peterborough by-election, which is still to come, to agree on a candidate. And we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if they can stick that out or not.
The Labour performance in Wales particularly will have sobered lots of people up, won't it?
It will, and so will that in the West Midlands. But it's interesting in Wales, if you add together Plaid, Lib Dem, Green and Change, and that's substantially more than the Brexit Party got. And then you assume, I think, that a lot of the Labour voters, those who stayed loyal to Labour, actually would have been pro-People's Vote, pro-Remain as well. So I think that the...
Cardini, Celtic certainly won, my man. Certainly won.
Proud of yourself. Treble, spelt wrong. Buddy, proud of yourself. Treble, spelt wrong.
Anyway, that's enough updates from the you can tell with your smell channel.
And campaign on it. And once you do that, I believe that you can win the country round.
We may have a result from Yorkshire and Humber in a second, Suzanne. If we do, I'll just break and go to it, so forgive me. But what do you make that's I think they're gathering, are they? So let's just stay on the pictures as well, because the returning officer is now asking the candidates to come to the podium in Leeds for the Yorkshire and Humber result. Just calling them up. So, Suzanne, while this is happening, just your take. So, I mean, in Wales, we were talking about Wales, and the Brexit Party performance in Wales is exceptionally strong.
Yes, it's been very good. UKIP had one MEP in Wales. The Brexit Party has now got two. And I think it's very interesting. Wales, of course, voted leave, along with England.
It's weird how this Tommy, like, I'm not saying there's any conspiracy or anything. I'm just trying to get my head round how this is working. But Tommy Robinson's obviously been given the figures. Or projections, I suppose. And it just takes them a while to maybe count insignificant enough to get in. I don't know how it works.
Corbyn talking about Brexit voters being far right, I think has absolutely alienated so many people.
I'm not defending their campaign. There wasn't a campaign.
Well, yeah, absolutely. So I think it'd be very interesting to see. My question, I think, next is where the Brexit Party goes from here. Is it going to become a party that actually challenges Westminster seats? Or is it going to stay the protest group that it is almost now for Brexit?
Well, let's see how well the party's done in Yorkshire and Humber, shall we? Let's have a look.
I, Tom Reardon, been Regional Returning Officer for Yorkshire and the Humber at the election of members to serve in the European Parliament held on Thursday, 23rd of May 2019, do hereby give notice that the total number of votes recorded for each registered party in the Yorkshire and Humber region is as follows. Change UK, the independent group, 30,162. Conservative and Unionist Party, 92,863. English Democrats, 11,283. Green Party, 166,980.
Captain fucking
Labour
Planet's
Party,
taken over.
210,516. Liberal Democrats, 200,180. The Brexit Party, 470,351. The Yorkshire Party, 50,842.
The what? Yorkshire
UK
Party?
Independence Party, UKIP, 56,100.
Who's this? Who are they?
I
And the
therefore
English
declare that the following
Democrats?
candidates have been duly elected for the Yorkshire and the Humber electoral region. John Longworth, the Brexit Party. Lucy Elizabeth Harris, the Brexit Party. Richard Graham Corbett, Labour Party. Shafak Mohammed,
Jeremy
Liberal
Corbyn.
Democrats. Majid, Green Party.
Woo!
Jake
Magic,
Pugh,
magic.
the Brexit Party.
They called him in the office.
Each of the parties will now make a short speech. So over to John.
Yeah, so quick,
So there
let's
we
go
have
to
the
the other
result in
results.
from Yorkshire and Humber, and there are 6 MEPs elected in this region. Again, topping the poll with a very strong result. The Brexit
Well,
Party,
Yorkshire
John
and Humber
Longworth
has
and
its
Lucy
own
Harris. We have Richard
area.
Corbett for Labour, who's a familiar Labour politician in the European Parliament. Shafak Mohammed for the Lib Dems. Majid for the Greens and Jake Pugh for the Brexit Party again. So 3 seats to them. Let's look at the tally. And there we have it. 3 Brexit Party seats, 1 to Labour, having lost a seat. Again for the Lib Dems. Again for the Greens. 2 strong performances again by them. The Conservatives, as we've seen elsewhere, losing their presence on the regional slate. And UKIP from last time having lost the 3 they had. Share of the vote. Yorkshire and Humber. Let's have a look at it. 36%.
Who the hell was in Change UK?
Way out in front. With Labour
is it just transsexuals? Is it just a 16%, transsexual party?
And the Lib Dems really kind of coming right up and matching Labour's performance on 16%, which is quite a big thing for them to do in this area. The Greens on 13, the Tories on...
Tommy Robinson update. He got 40,000 vote, which works out to be less than 2%, so he won't win a seat at all.
9% share of the vote additional for the Lib Dems and the Greens up by 5. UKIP, as we know, they've fragmented badly since last time, which is why they've lost 27% share of the vote. But look at the Tories again. Tories and Labour, quite similar in Yorkshire and Humber in terms of the damage inflicted on them by this Brexit crisis, because that really is what we're talking about. As others have said, Emily, before, for Labour, this is has been a one-issue election, and that's the prism through which we should look at all these results. So another sort of set of results there that the Brexit Party would be happy with, and I'm just thinking again. From
That's the way we should spin all these results.
Just interesting in terms of the way that this is going to translate into.
Right, I'm going to have to call it a night shortly, man.
Change of Labour policy, because your view is clear. Emily Thornberry earlier, more clear than she's ever been before about the fact that the party should stop, pause, and really consider what it's doing. How confident are you that this current leadership is prepared to do that?
I'd be lying if I said I was wholly confident, but I think that they have to face what's going on here. My worry is that you will have some Labour MPs will be saying, look, actually what the success of the Brexit Party shows is that we have to sort of move more towards them. And I think that is exactly the wrong thing to do. I think what you've seen is a protest against the government for failing to deliver Brexit and a protest against Labour for having such an unclear policy and unclear position. And even though the Brexit Party led there so well, if you look at the Greens, the Lib Dems, the big story here, I think, is the increase in the vote for the Greens and the Lib Dems. And if you actually say that UKIP have been wiped out with the Brexit Party...
Yeah, the big story is that vote, not the Brexit Party or the amount of votes that Tommy Robinson managed to get. Yeah, he didn't get a seat, but fuck's sake, the guy got 40,000 votes.
The Remain parties added all together, doing better than the hardline Brexit parties. So this is what the Labour Party...
I'm better than Joe Owens. Joe Owens get 51.
A general election. If they don't lead on this, they're facing oblivion.
Local councillor.
Let's see what Richard Tice's view on this is. He's the chair of the Brexit Party. Well, it will be different to yours, Alistair, that's guaranteed. So Richard joins us from Chelmsford. Richard, so far, what do you make of your party's performance?
Well, we're delighted by the results so far, both here in the Eastern region, where I've just been elected an MEP, but also up and down the country. Millions and millions and millions of voters have now got hope. They've supported what we stood for. We had a simple message: let's restore trust in democracy, let's promote and stand for a WTO Brexit, and we need some of our selected MEPs to go forward and help the negotiating team. And people have backed us very strongly, very clearly, and the Labour vote is hemorrhaging all over the country. Amazing to see what's happened, for example, in Wales, where we've got 2 MEPs and the Labour vote has collapsed. And I would say to Alistair in your studio, the reason it's collapsed is because they haven't listened to their core Heartland voter. They've listened to what's going on in Islington.
Well, I'll ask Alistair to answer that in a second, but I'm intrigued by the thought that this election, you say, has offered hope to people, because I'm wondering, how does that happen? How does the Brexit negotiating process, which we've seen very clearly from the European Union's point of view, they've been, at least you can say, they've been consistent in the way they've applied their principles. How does that change because of the fact that you've got some Brexit Party MEPs?
Well, because what we have done is we've sent a very clear message back to Westminster that leave means leave. And what we've also said, and millions of voters up and down the country have now had the opportunity to say, actually, we are confident, we're comfortable with the WTO Brexit, and so maybe Westminster MPs, they need to wake up, smell the coffee, and realise that actually, you know, this idea that any deal is better than no deal is simply not backed up by what people feel in the country. We in business, we know that no deal is always better than a bad deal. Theresa May's worst deal in history was quite rightly rejected 3 times. You know, now let's actually full steam ahead, prepare for leaving no later than the 31st of October on a WTO Brexit. That provides the maximum negotiating leverage going forwards. It provides the opportunity. And
well, they were saying 200,000 votes would get you 8% of the vote. So you can sort out your own maths. Mine was a bit fucking shady. They were talking about Tommy Robinson getting somewhere in the region of 40,000, which through my calculations would be less than 2%.
For my side of the argument,
good to see when it gets
and also, I've
declared.
just had a text. This is for Labour. Darren Rodwell
How
is
we
the
lost?
leader,
We've
is the
just won
leader
2
of
MEPs.
Barking and Dagenham Council, and he's been unequivocally fighting against Brexit ever since the referendum. And they've beaten the Brexit Party in Barking and Dagenham, which was the only council to vote out. If you show leadership on our side of the argument, the leadership that's been lacking from the top of the Labour Party, then Richard and Nigel and his friends, they can be defeated. And I think that that is what the Labour Party has to see in this. You've done a very good campaign. Your social media's been brilliant. Your events have been good. You've had all the rubles coming in and you've done very, very well. Hats off. You fought the only decent campaign, Richard. I'll give you that. But
How old is the Labour Party compared to the Brexit Party?
I agree. The Labour Party's 100 years. I agree that.
They have come from absolutely nowhere and fought a very good campaign. You have had years and years and years, and you are losing hand over fist. This is a very bad day for the Labour Party. You might like to dress it up by talking about
Suzanne, I don't know if you heard what I said.
immaterial.
I didn't vote Labour.
I know you said you
Right.
didn't
Heads
vote
up.
Labour, but that's still where your loyalties lie, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Let's be clear.
Can I
And,
just
you
interrupt?
might want to
And-
tot up all the people that didn't vote for the Brexit
Okay,
Party
Richard,
and try and
you
make
come in.
something
You
out
come in.
of it. But really.
Yes, Richard, we're waiting.
Yeah, there's an important interruption here. Alistair Campbell has just tried to smear us, suggesting that rubles have come in. Not
it's
a
a bit of
single
humour,
ruble has
Richard.
come in. Alistair, I think
don't-
you should apologise.
Richard, I won't apologise. I won't apologise. I won't
Be big enough.
apologise.
Come on,
No, I
be
won't.
big enough on national TV.
No, Richard, don't lose your sense of humour just
Not a
because you're
single
stressed.
ruble.
Don't
You've
lose your
slurred
sense of
you've
humour.
slurred our
And also,
campaign.
I think
We're
there are
winning
some
this.
pretty unanswered questions about the
I've got a
campaign
great
in
sense of
2016,
humour.
Richard, and we'll keep going on them as well.
Richard, on the point about, you know, this is the issue for me, which is how are you, as the Brexit Party, newly constituted, now with these MEPs, how are you in practical terms going to change the Brexit outcome that was reached after 2 years of negotiation between Theresa May and the European Union? How are you going to change that?
Well, because we stood on a platform that some of our selected MEPs who've got proper experience in business and negotiation should form part of the negotiating team.
I'm quite
clear,
proud
and
of
people
my
have voted
maths.
for that.
My
And actually,
fucking
do you know
maths
what?
got the same
government,
fucking thing as
or what's
Liverpool
left
Echo.
of it, they really need to start listening, wake up.
There we go,
and
aye,
say, yes,
so-
come in, come and help, because we've made such a shambles of it. And there's things that we'll be doing, obviously, in Brussels.
Richard, thank you very much for joining us. It's good of you. Thanks a lot. Richard Tystead, the
Great pleasure.
chair of the Brexit Party in Chelmsford, and good to talk to him. We're waiting for a result in from the southwest, aren't we? Here we are in Poole, and they're gathering. Are we actually getting the result?
Farrant, being the properly
Let's go to
appointed
it.
regional returning officer for the European parliamentary election in the southwest region held on the 23rd of May 2019, to hereby give notice that the number of valid votes cast for each party and individual candidate at this election is as follows. Change UK, the independent group, 46,612.
Right, something weird's happened.
Conservative and Unionist Party, 144,674. English Democrats, 8,393. The Green Party, 302,364. Labour Party, 108,100. Liberal Democrats, 385,095. The Brexit Party, 611,742. That was 611,742. UK Independence Party, 53,739. Maxi, Larch, Ian Albert Frank, Independent, 1,772. Matthew Rahman, Independent, 755. And Neville Seed, Independent, 3,383. The total number of rejected ballot papers in the region is 9,544. I also give notice that I've prepared a statement setting out the details as required by the European Parliamentary election rules, but I hereby declare the following candidates have been duly elected for the South West region. Anne Noreen Widdicombe, the Brexit Party.
Now, obviously Liverpool's just part of the north west, but so in Liverpool we could only get 1,700 votes.
Forward, Liberal Democrats. I'd now like to ask the first name from each of the parties if they'd like to do a short speech to the assembled throng.
So there we have our latest regional result from the southwest of England, and Anne Widdicombe, the former Conservative MP for Maidstone, now the new MEP, one of them anyway, for the southwest, and on behalf of the Brexit Party. Let's have a listen to what she's saying.
The agent and the party workers of the Brexit Party. Tonight reaffirms the vote of 2016 because there was only one reason for voting for the Brexit Party, and that was if you wanted a Brexit. And therefore we will go forward determined that that is what we are going to achieve. And when we go to Brussels, we will say that because of our showing in these elections and the fact that we so clearly speak for the people, that we want a role in the negotiations. And that is what we will be asking for. But I just thank all the voters who voted for us, who said to the politicians at Westminster, we meant what we said.
Anne Widdicombe reaffirming the message that Richard Tice was giving us earlier, which is that they want to share in the negotiations if they pick up again after the failure of the Theresa May package so far. So the Brexit Party on 3 seats in the southwest, the Lib Dems on 2, a very strong performance by the Lib Dems again. The Greens on 1, another strong performance. The Conservatives having lost their 2 seats, Labour having lost, and the UKIP presence of 2, that's gone. That's the pattern that we've seen throughout the night. All those UKIP votes from last time seemingly switching over to the Brexit Party, and the Brexit Party also seeming to add some votes from other parties as well. Let's look at the East Midlands result as well before I ask my new panel to comment on what's going on. And if we look at the East Midlands result, there we have the Brexit Party, which is on 452,321 votes, 5 MEPs, 5 seats in the East Midlands.
Wendy Lickincombe.
That's the region
That's
itself.
her name.
Of course, a very important electoral
Wendy
region for Westminster if there's an election later this year. And we see the Brexit Party again topping the poll in the East Midlands. The Lib Dems in second place. Labour quite a way behind in third place. And the Tories even further behind in fourth place. With the Greens pretty close to them, actually. They were nearly beaten into fifth place, the Conservatives, by the Greens in the East Midlands. And if we look at the names of those elected, because we spoke to the person at the top of the poll a short while ago before the result was announced, Annunciata Rees-Mogg, sister of Jacob, Tory MP, the lead Brexit MEP on this list, with Jonathan Bullock, her party colleague, and Matthew Patten joining them. And that's 3 Brexit MEPs. William Newton-Dunn, the Lib Dem, that's Bill Newton-Dunn, the veteran Lib Dem politician, former Conservative, and then Rory Palmer for Labour. So looking at the tally for the East Midlands, what do we have? 3 Brexit Party seats, 1 Lib Dem, 1 Labour, and then the Tories losing their presence there too. And the share of the vote, which tells us something as well about what's going on, 17% to the Lib Dems, Labour on 14%, the Tories on 11%. And the change from last time, the Lib Dems 12 percentage points up and Labour 11 percentage points down, the Tories 15 percentage points down and the Greens up 5. So that gives you the picture. And I think, Laura, that we have two sets of results there that really reinforce the kind of drama of what we're seeing this evening.
Both these sets of results, the South West and the East Midlands, reinforce the same thing, that the Labour Party and the Tory Party are in big trouble when it comes to Brexit. Neither of them have managed to secure a single MEP in those two regions. Both of those two regions and millions of voters, therefore, will be represented by people other than the two main Westminster parties in the European Parliament. Now, European elections are not a direct read across to what might happen in a general election in future. Nonetheless, we are seeing tonight profoundly a real rejection of the two main dominant Westminster parties and how they've handled Brexit. And the idea that a party can look at trying to come up with something that might work, that yes, OK, we're going to leave, but we're going to do it this way and try to compromise. Clarity is what's winning. I know I've said it before, but clarity and a clear message is what is coming out on top, whether that's the Brexit Party or the Liberal Democrats.
In a moment, I'll be talking to the Plaid Cymru leader.
Well, the election would suggest it's the Brexit Party.
Welcome, the three of you.
Hello.
This late hour, Mark Francois for the Conservatives.
Everything has to be some form attempt of spin.
Okay, Mark, where are we? Well, what do we know? On your local election programme, the morning after
What do we know?
locals, I predicted that the locals would be like the bit before a tsunami where the sea goes out, and then on the European elections, as it were, the wave would come crashing in. And that's what's happened. This is a political tsunami. The Brexit Party have absolutely romped it. There's no other way of describing it. The Conservatives, we knew that we were going to have a bad night. I think we'd steeled ourselves for that. I'm very pleased to see my old friend Geoffrey Van Orden back in the east of England. But look, let's be honest, you know, the effluent product has well and truly impacted with the rotary air conditioning in our case.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've had a bad night. Labour have had a bad night. I concede from their point of view the Libs have had quite a good night. Change UK have been annihilated. Poor old Heidi Allen reminded me, this will only appeal to all the viewers, but Monty Python had an election night sketch once, and there was a slightly silly party, and their candidate Kevin Phillips Bong tries to pretend they've had a great night even when he's got no votes. And bless her, Heidi kind of reminded me of Kevin Phillips Bong. So overall,
thank you for that.
Well, there we are.
Yeah.
But
No history at all between Heidi Allen, of course, a defecting Conservative MP and the rest of the Tory
look, Change
backbench.
UK are going to disintegrate and they're all going to go and join the Liberals, and we all know it. So that's the end of Change UK. Yeah. But the bottom line story tonight is that the British voting public have taken their revenge on the British establishment. They know that the British establishment tried to prevent us leaving, despite the result of the referendum. And to put it bluntly, tonight the British voting public have lent the British establishment across the table and given them an experience the like of which they'll never forget.
And that experience for Labour, Stephen, is what?
Well, it's a very bad, disappointing night for Labour. No big surprises in there, really. I think one thing that we have been clear on, and I know we've been accused of not being clear in our position, but we've been very clear that we are opposed to leaving the European Union without a deal. And I'm afraid that we've ended up in a situation where a kind of unholy alliance of...
God almighty, man, it's really mind-melting listening to the same pish constantly.
Still. You end up...
Give the figures for the fucking Northwest and let me get out of here.
Calculus, what a disaster that would be for our country.
They've not declared yet.
For many years been saying we should leave the EU
for whatever
but
reason.
with a
It's
deal
not
that keeps a close
shouted
relationship
out the
with the
numbers.
single market, with a form of customs arrangement, and I think that reflects the 52-48 mandate to move house but stay in the same neighbourhood. We unfortunately are now in this deeply divided,
8 out of 12
polarised
regions, so
situation
it'll be coming
where
soon.
compromise has become a dirty
There's
word,
East
and that is a very
Midlands,
dangerous
there's
place to be
East
for our democracy.
England.
Not so long ago, Emily Thornberry was sitting there
London.
and was basically saying, you know,
North
we
East.
just got this wrong in terms of the policy needs
South
to be looked at.
West, Wales,
There's no clarity
West
around what we're saying.
Midlands,
And that
Yorkshire
the
and
party
the
needs
Humber.
to stop and look again at its attitude to a second vote and all the rest of it. Did it surprise you that she said that?
It didn't surprise me. I think Emily's certainly been tacking in that direction for some time.
One way of putting it.
I think that we should have stuck to our guns, and stuck to our guns as the party of a sensible, pragmatic, bridge-building form of Brexit, one that can that recognises the very legitimate grievances. Many of
when
the
the election come,
the 17.4 million people, why they voted
re-elected
the way that they did.
It's the age of the windy liquor.
To protect
when the liquors are
jobs
taken
and
over.
livelihoods and environmental standards, and that is perfectly doable by remaining closely aligned with single market.
Are you not as divided as a party as the Conservatives appear to have been at times in this debate? Labour is Labour divided to an extent that it can't be repaired under this leader?
Well, I don't think you can compare the Tory psychodrama over Europe, which has gone on now for 30 years. Their self-indulgent internecine warfare has absorbed so much time and energy and resources. Frankly, the Tory party...
Oh man, the BBC sucks so much here.
...to the sword by the issue of Europe. That just doesn't compare to where the Labour Party
but you're
has
still
been
divided,
for decades. But as things stand, we are divided because we've had a referendum which clashed with Labour's pro-European policy. But those of us who voted...
The elections would say not so divided, but anyway.
...that we need to leave are looking for a way through this that can reunite our deeply divided country.
It's looking good for you so far, Joe.
Yeah, it's another good election night for the Liberal Democrats.
What does it say?
Well, our message at this election was very clear. Stop Brexit was the key.
Get her mic'd up.
Stood on at this election, and indeed that we
shady
have
BBC. How can you be on the BBC with such
for
low...
our party's entire history?
Quick,
and
get a microphone over.
So for decades, that Liberal Democrat commitment to the European Union has been absolutely clear. People have voted for us. Of all the parties, we have gone up the most significantly, and I think that actually gives hope.
No. The Brexit parties went up most significantly. They were nowhere, and now they're bigger than you. It's what kind of... I don't particularly give a fuck who wins this shite, but you got to fucking see what's happening here.
To everybody who does want to stay in the European Union, who thinks that our best future is as members of the European Union, because that is absolutely still possible the longer that Brexit goes on in the absolute shambles and mess that it is.
The Brexit Party won hands down, and their policy was to leave the European Union as soon as possible, if necessary, with no deal. Now, in fairness, the Liberal Democrat policy...
Audio is push.
And if you wanted to remain, you voted Liberal Democrat. If you really wanted to leave as soon as possible, you voted for the Brexit Party. For the Conservative Party, in as much as we had a campaign, it was, to back the withdrawal agreement. Well, that has been slaughtered, so the withdrawal agreement is now effectively as dead as a dodo. There's no way that's coming back into Parliament. That's gone. That's off the table.
Google's telling me about election
but
results.
What the British public have voted for, there's a clear winner in this election, and that is
the Brexit party
that said we should leave as soon as possible, if necessary, with no deal. And you can spin it any way you want. They romped it.
Yeah, they romped it as an individual party. There's no question about that. But if you start adding up what the Lib Dems and the Greens have done in quite a lot of these regions, the picture looks rather different, does it not?
Well, let me answer that. This is a European election. It's not a general election. It's a European election, and it's on European policy. I think you could probably argue, we might all agree on this, that people have voted more clearly on European policy in these European elections than perhaps they've ever done before, because there was so much more interest in the European issue. So I think that's a fair statement. And when they voted on the European issue, they voted very, very clearly for a party that says it wants to leave as soon as possible, even with no deal. There's absolutely no hesitation about who's won this. The Brexit Party, and I say this as a Conservative who voted Tory and will do all my life for the vote. The Brexit Party, let's be honest.
I don't know how much longer I can go. My eyes are closing here.
I'll come back for Joe to answer that. What I'd like to do is go down to Haverfordwest because Adam Price, the leader of Plaid Cymru, has been waiting patiently there. Adam, thanks very much for joining us. I'm just going to put the Wales results up so that viewers can see them. And we see that the Brexit Party, were way out in front in Wales on 32%, but Plaid Cymru in second place on 20%, having increased by 4 percentage points on last time, and Labour significantly in Wales in third place with the Lib Dems in fourth place. So, talk us through what that campaign did and what you achieved in this campaign in your view.
Well, I mean, two big stories of the night, Hugh, really. I mean, as Alistair was saying just a few moments ago, Wales, that did vote leave 3 years ago, is tonight now again a Remain nation. If you tally up the votes for the avowedly pro-Remain parties in Wales versus the pro-Brexit parties, then we won. And by the way, I'm not including Labour there, because which faced both ways following the set of policy that we've just heard from Stephen Kinnock. And that leads us on to the second big story of the night, and the uniquely Welsh story, of course, which is a historic victory for us in
Scotland's
overtaking Labour for the first time in our 94-year history. It was worth the wait.
Fucking stupid up there in the northwest. Get your fucking abacuses out. Get your fucking finger out. Yeah,
all the way back to 1906, probably, when Keir Hardie was first installed as Labour Party leader for them, coming third in an election in Wales. This, we often overuse these words, don't we? Seismic, etc. But this is truly a historic occasion in Wales, and I think yes, the European issue was right at the heart of this. But of course, once people break that habit that has been here for a century in Wales,
suffering succotash,
then that allows us as a party then to actually start to build the platform which hopefully will take me to victory as the First Minister in 2 years' time.
How do you explain, you mentioned Plaid Cymru's heritage and Labour's heritage in Wales, which we know about. How do you explain then that a party which has only just been formed, the Brexit Party, romps home with 32% of the vote in Wales?
Well, look, I mean, there is obviously a Leave support in Wales. The interesting thing, though, is to compare the actual result.
The interesting thing, though, it's not the result, but it's the spin from the result, boyo.
We've seen it in our own case, the Liberal Democrats, etc. So that's the story in terms of the tectonic plates shifting, particularly in terms of Plaid Cymru. What happened with us is that thousands and thousands, particularly of disaffected Labour voters, were completely exasperated at the vacuum of leadership that is the Labour Party, not just in the case of Jeremy Corbyn, but we have new leaders all round in political parties in Wales. And, Mark Drakeford, this was the first electoral test of the new Labour leader in Wales, and he has failed miserably because he did not provide the leadership that even his own supporters and members were rightly expecting in terms of this incredible serious challenge that we're facing. Of course, Wales being ripped out of the heart of Europe and the heart being ripped out of our economy with it.
What does this result do in terms of the Brexit process then, Adam? I mean, people have voted Plaid Cymru as 20% of the share of the vote, and you've made your point on that. But what difference does that make now to the Brexit process?
Just catering.
Well, look, I mean, whatever happens, of course, over the next few weeks with another party that now has a leadership
like Tommy Robinson's bunker
we will
anyway.
Be exactly where we have been, Hugh. Going round in circles, whistling in the wind until we recognise we've had a public vote here. Remain has won in Wales, but the public vote that we need to dislodge this parliamentary logjam is to have that people's vote. And that's the clear message that I'm seeing here in Wales. I'm seeing it in the results that I've seen across the whole of the UK. The only way that we can resolve this matter once and for all is to have a final say referendum. And unless we accept that, right, trust in democracy is going to collapse. We have to take it back to the people. It's people's...
So... unless we disregard the previous vote, trust in democracy is going to collapse.
Let's
just keep voting. Let's keep voting until we get the result we want.
Which takes us forward to the future. Otherwise, we'll be having these kind of conversations for weeks, months, years ahead, and we can't afford that in our democracy.
Adam Price, thanks very much again for talking to us, and quite a bit of reaction on the panel while Adam was speaking to us, but I'll come back to the panel in a second because I'm going to ask them to just pause for a moment. Let's have a look at the scoreboard. And let's have a look where we are.
What's in the score, George Storr?
So far, and we've got quite a few results in now. The Brexit Party on 32%, the Lib Dems on 20%, Labour on 14%, and the Greens on 12%. And Conservatives on 9% of the vote as we speak. Change UK on 3% and UKIP on 3%. That's where we are. So we'll be back in a moment for the latest of the results as they come in. But I want to join Annabelle now for the news.
Thank you, Hugh. Good morning. The Brexit
What
Party
news?
is emerging as the big winner in the European.
Right, I'm going to have to jack this in, right? I think we can safe to say Tommy Robinson, by his own admission, 40,000 vote bracket. By my maths and the Liverpool Echo maths, it's about, I'd say, less than 2% of the vote, which doesn't get him a seat. And he's quite disappointed, but of course, it's not his fault. It's the deep state Illuminati for it's him being flung off of social media's fault. It's Facebook's fault. It's YouTube's fault, even though he's broadcasting live tonight on YouTube. But anyway, I need to get to my fucking bed, man. I'm fucking already sleeping behind the eyes. Thanks for joining, everybody. Remember what I do here. It's digital basking. It's all available and accessible free of charge. I'm going to do such a good job. You will find value in what I do and use your spare change, not your life savings, on the Patreon and PayPal buttons down below. And a mega thanks to those who do. Thumbs it up, share it on the Facebook, the Twitters, Google+, all the good stuff. Leave all your comments, the good, bad, ugly and indifferent. I will read and respond to as many as I can. Hopefully you enjoyed a wee bit of a genuine alternative coverage of the UK and EU-wide election results. It's fair to say it's happened in Scotland. It's now, I'm not just talking about this election, I'm talking about the most recent series of elections. It's happened up in Scotland before anywhere, because Scotland's always ahead of the world. Then it's happening in Britain, and to the best of my limited knowledge of European politics, it's happening in the areas of Europe to a certain degree. Le Pen's National Front, or National, or whatever it's called now, coming first in France. And the populist, nationalistic elements doing well on the surface from first reports around all of Europe. There's a wrecking ball going through global politics, and it's destroying the old political status quo, and it's putting a new one in. And let's say it's all part of, let's say as always, some sort of a elaborate theatre, and it's the usual Greek tragedy getting played out. Shepherd is all down the middle. Anyway, so hopefully you enjoyed that alternative coverage. Let me just see, there isn't any. Oh, Deep State Illuminati at it again. See that? See that? What's that guy's back? Anywho, I'm too tired. UKIP's been destroyed. 3% of the vote so far. Don't suspect that will fluctuate much. So Sargon, Spunkula, Paul Joseph Watson, Tommy Robinson didn't help UKIP or the nationalistics cause. And I don't know what to make of Farage's new party, but it seems to have galvanised a lot of support tonight. Anyway, thanks for joining, everybody. I'll say hi to the folks in the chat room, and then I'll get out of here. The artist formerly known as Tony in the Evening Buddy, Cardini, HK, Apple, Charlotte, Pontiac, Annie, how you doing? Blazing, Stewie, J, Cardini, Roberto Carlos in the evening, guys and girls. Thanks for joining. Stewie, HK, A Lazy Jesus, J, Apple Charlotte, the artist formerly known as Tony, Cardini, Vladimir, how you doing, buddy? HK, Lazy Jesus, Stewie, The Blazing Stars, J, Shell Owens in the evening, Roberto, Narcissistic Dog, how you doing? Cardini, Truth Seeker, Blazing, Truth Seeker 666. There's two Truth Seekers in the house seeking the truth. McVee the third, how you doing, buddy? And Roberto Carlos. So thanks for joining, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Tune in tomorrow for Roast the Week. I think no doubt we'll be talking about the fallout from the elections and the deep state Illuminati conspiracies Tommy Robinson will be dreaming up to cover up for his perceived failure. To me, getting 40,000 votes isn't a failure, but it's quite scary that that guy can actually mobilise 40,000 people into going like that and drawing an X with their tongue. Or their pens that they went and bought. I want a pen, the deep state Illuminati! I don't see it getting... You ever heard of Tipex? Anyway, I digress. In the evening, one and all. Thanks for joining. Have a good one. Hopefully catch you tomorrow night for Roast the Week and Tuesday for Not the Infowars Nightly News. I'm out of here. I'm getting off to my bed. Catches. Work, goddamn you.
Kips clip.